Gee whiz! Here we go, welcome everybody. Massive thank you to all of you for waiting as well, being so incredibly patient. It's just like Monarch Airlines in real life. Aircraft being delayed every 15 minutes until at some point it's fixed. So yeah, we were tech for the last hour and a half. Thank you for all of your patience and waiting around for us to sort ourselves out. It's much appreciated. But I hope you're all well. But it's not how we'd like to start streams here, is it? But yeah, thank you for your patience. Hope you're all well. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you guys have been celebrating, wherever you are based in the world. It's great to have you on board with us today for this Monarch Airlines Airbus A300-600R flight from London Gatwick to Alicante on Microsoft Flight Simulator and the VATSIM network. Ian, commentator Sathira, welcome guys. Eva Lacer, hello. David as well, welcome. Badger, howdy. MPS Gaming, all the channel members. If you've missed you out as well, do remind me and say hello. The live stream's been going for an hour, well the live chat rather has been going for an hour, and we've been chatting away since in the chat. So yeah, thanks for bearing with us. We've effectively 2 minutes before the stream started, iniBuilds sent a new version for us which fixed an issue with the WASM module inside the sim which others had been experiencing. So it was only fair that we pushed the stream back just a little bit for them to package something else up new and create a new package with the fix in there, because you know, after all, we are previewing this aircraft prior to its release, which potentially is going to be tomorrow. I think they have said on their Discord server yesterday that it will not release on a Friday. They don't do releases on a Friday, they've said. That to me means potentially tomorrow, and just over 40 quid including VAT on its release, which is a very reasonable price I do think for what I've been able to explore so far. Juliet Charlie Mike, welcome. Peter as well, hello mate. So, where are we? Well, stand 19 at Gatwick. We are cold and dark. It doesn't have an official GSX profile either, and because of that, we're using it anyway with the jetty, as you can see, which has been attached, and we're going to go through a few little bits. Initially cold and dark, although a little bit accelerated because of the nature of the amount of delay we've had to today's live stream, but I want to have a little look at various cool little features here. And we are diving straight in for this first flight on VATSIM. I'm hoping it's very similar to the A310, which I have enjoyed previously in the past, a fair few times in the sim. So we'll give it a real good shot today, and I'm very excited to fly it with you guys live on the channel as a special preview. So we'll dive into the flight deck, but actually in the tranquility of this cold and dark flight deck, we're going to jump straight into the back. I've loaded my own custom views in the sim, and I have updated them and uploaded them onto flightsim.to in preparation for their release, so that when it is released you guys can enjoy these custom views as well. So we'll walk through the cabin first as if we are the cabin crew pre-boarding, doing some security checks. Why? Well, there are some nice little features that they've added in here, not least the safety demonstration card. A few of the little bits inside their custom cabin, which is nicely textured as well. The little icons and stuff up here we'll explore throughout the journey today. I think from memory, looking at these yesterday, they illuminate, but I've basically gone onto it once and then hand flown some circuits with manual throttle control and no autopilot, just to get a real feel for what this aeroplane can do. That was in a preview build yesterday that we weren't allowed to make content on, although it hasn't stopped some people, I suppose. We try and respect the developers' wishes as best as possible. Tomorrow as well, we're going to dive back into this. We're showing the cargo version off today. Tomorrow we've got a really cool route. The weather in the UK over the next day or two is atrocious, as we can see at Gatwick at the moment. Now, tomorrow we are going to head into a FedEx paint. We're going to head out of East Midlands Airport, Pyreek Devco's fantastic EMA for MSFS. We're going to hop over a very short service to Liège, about an hour's flight time, before then turning around and flying back to East Midlands. So a lot of really bad weather today and tomorrow to go and enjoy. Here's the rear galley with the toilets at the very back there. Who in the chat has ever flown inside an A300? I remember these as a kid. I've got fond memories. No, Spectre, FedEx. It's a real FedEx route. Don't worry, I have researched it. I remember these fondly. I was a child, so many years ago, and I was going on holiday with parents out of Birmingham Airport, I think, if I've remembered it correctly. Pretty sure it was Birmingham Airport, and I was boarding a Britannia Airways flight at the time, and I remember seeing a Monarch Airlines A300, and I remember thinking how huge it looked. And this is, of course, the Airbus version of a 767, really, 767-300. I suppose it's their competitor to that aeroplane. But yeah, really cool aeroplane, and obviously capabilities of ETOPS. It can fly extended twin operations as well, so those hops across the Atlantic and a few other little bits, then you can enjoy that. Zato, apparently it is. The A310, by the way, folks, I know a lot of you have been chatting about that in the live chat and in Discord today. Currently the iniBuilds or the Microsoft Asobo A310 inside the MSFS marketplace is broken because of the same thing affecting this aircraft, the package that we had just prior to the stream launching. Something changed inside the nav data in the sim, and that's caused most of these iniBuild products or iniBuild created items to go tech. They have fixed the A310 as well, but what it will require is an update, basically, via Microsoft, so we all know how long that can take. Right, into the flight deck for the first time, and here we are. Very familiar, isn't it? It's similar to the A310, which is great fun to fly, a little bit bigger, a little bit more imposing. Let's pop that flight deck door closed, and yeah, we're cold and dark at the moment. Some beautiful textures on the inside here as well as we kind of venture through. So they've put a little bit of wear on these engine switches and selector switches, and you can see as well the paint as well on these on the center pedestal. Flaked, damaged, scuffed, scratched. It's all in there. Really beautiful bit of work by the team at iniBuilds. Even this with the way that the trim tab has worn away over time as well through use. So we'll explore a lot of that in detail. First though, we're going to have a look outside very briefly, and to do so we're going to pop into the ground equipment tab. Is it that one? No, it's not. It's in aircraft maintenance. Engine cowl, engine cowl. APU cowl for me doesn't seem to work, but we'll open it again. Yeah. Oh no, it's working now. It didn't on the previous build. Interesting. So let's have a little look at some of these cowlings and bits here as well. Actually, oh, is it really the very first A300 passenger flight live stream? They've all been cargo up to now. I confess I haven't watched any, so yeah, I don't really tend to have much time, certainly around Christmas, to experience any other streams. I know a fair few of the folks have been working away, and I'm curious to hear all of your thoughts. If you're new to the channel, welcome on board. Make sure you hit like and subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the live chat throughout today as well. Look at this. These are the CF6 engines, I think, if I remember rightly. Beautiful rotation there, and the fan blades captured beautifully with all the numbering as well. The spinner in the middle, worn away, flexor paint damaged off. Ah, there we go, Andy, thanks buddy, good to know. And then the engine cowlings, of course, all displayed. They open up via the EFB, and you can have a little look around and kind of get an understanding for the engineering behind the aeroplane as well, the insides of it. We turn our attention to the APU. This poor chap, we'll call him Bruce. He's working away at keeping the APU and all maintained for us for today's flight, of course. Although Monarch Airlines, he probably hasn't been paid. It does give you an appreciation of how vast this aeroplane is. And what I also wanted to show you guys is some of the detailing around the tyres and stuff here as well. Look at this. Now I'm lucky because I've got an RTX 4090, and because of that, I'm able to run the sim in 4K on my 4K screen and then output the stream to you guys in 2K 60 frames per second, providing you've got the internet speeds for it. But hopefully this is really standing out on the stream for you guys. Look at that. There's the old wheel bay. Lovely job. Yeah, don't forget, those of you looking at the pricing of the aeroplane, this is actually about £42 because you have to factor in tax as well. Look at this. Serviceable maintenance is something on the aircraft that you have to consider as well throughout your flights, and we'll go into that in the EFB briefly. I don't want to spend too much time on the ground though, because A, I know people have done it to death already, but B, we are over an hour behind. We're supposed to have pushed back quite a bit ago. But externally, I'm sure you guys agree, a beautiful, beautiful external model. We will dive in and out various features throughout the journey to kind of have a little look at the emissives, the lights, and all the rest of it. But we've got a lot of pre-flight prep to get on with, and the rest of it lies inside the aircraft. So, settings. You can pop your SimBrief username in at the top. Hoppy's Acast is coming soon, which is great to see, and Navigraph as well. You can log in with your Navigraph subscription in the EFB, which gives you access to the charts and all that sort of thing. IRS align time, real, fast or instant as the options, and I've set the rudder control tiller to yes, and also auto tiller disconnect to yes as well. We're going to pop the default thrust reduction altitude to 1000, and I've linked all of the instruments as well, so I don't have to change the captains and the first officers. Because I use hectopascals in the UK, we've set that as our default as well as metric and kilograms instead of pounds. We flick this across. That's where you can set your maintenance modes. So we've got it to realistic at the moment, so wear and tear on the relevant maintenance options will be over a longer period of time, a realistic period of time, to reflect real world usage, and because of that, fueling is also real time as well. Rear door arming, if enabled, it will arm the doors automatically for departure during engine start, so I've set that to on at the moment. If not, there is a button inside the EFB, we'll look at it shortly, where you can arm it or disarm them yourselves. It'll be something to bear in mind. And by default, curved ND tracks are set to on, just to make it look a bit smoother, like the modern airliners that we enjoy and experience today, like the 737 and the A320s. But I'm going to select it to off today. I don't know if others have done it that way, but that's the realistic way that the A300 had the nav display drawing the track, because it didn't have the ability to draw curves, it says there. So we've turned it off for now to see how that manages as well. And I've turned the internal engines up, and the external engines I'll just drop down a little bit, I think. But there we go, that's all the settings. Right, where are we next? My flight. So, with the SimBrief username put in, we can go import from SimBrief, and it loads in here our METARs. Look at the winds, gusting 31 at Gatwick. Grim. And QNH low pressure 1004 with our routing in there as well. So we are very behind schedule in fairness, but it is what it is. What can you say? We're tracking the flight on New Sky, our virtual airline client as well. I've got all of it ready to go for the release so that you guys can do the same with Osprey Airways. We've got cargo and passenger variants all ready to go. But let's fire up the jet, shall we, for now? Let's have a little look in the overhead panel. We can see external power is available. So what have we got? Gear is down, flaps are up, part brake is on. I think we've got the chocks out as well. And this is an aircraft I haven't flown, well, certainly the system style that I've not flown in a very long time. Can't remember when we last flew the A310. Do you guys remember? It's been a while, hasn't it? Anyway, batteries. We'll pop them on. We could use automatic, and we'll pop external power on as well. Anyway, up the top, IRS nav 1, on the right hand side 2, and in the middle 3. Got to make sure they're all aligning away, and they're set to fast, so it should be a little bit quicker. They're all of the pumps. Galleys on shared, probes are off, window heats, we'll pop those on for now. Crossfeed on the bleeds. APU, emergency exit lights armed. We'll pop standby compass on for now as well. System 1 is in place. Hydraulics all low pressure at the minute. They're all checked. And we can't turn any of this pitch trim and yaw damper stuff on until the IRSs are aligned. So that's something to bear in mind in a short while. We can't forget that. And the nav lights go on. Mikhail, hello buddy. There's the nav lights from the outside. The emissives looking quite nice, aren't they? We'll look at the other side once we're airborne and we'll explore various features of those. Seatbelt signs, no smoking signs. They're on automatic. And seatbelt signs are on. So if we look in the flight deck, sorry, in the cabin, he says, we should see, there we are. It's almost like we thought about this. We've got all of the seatbelt signs, the lights and signs all set in the cabin accordingly, depending on how we toggle those switches in the flight deck. Good, right? Zathira, welcome buddy. Ian, hello to you mate as well. Great to have you guys on board. Look at that old school CRT monitor as well. Oof. Right, where are we? We are so far behind, so let's look at this. Cockpit preparation, gear lever down, reverse levers, weather radar off, external powers established and on. We won't do the APU just yet. And we won't set the radios just yet either. Right. So we'll clear the messages first, and I'm just going to briefly go into Gatwick ground, which is 121805.
Please, underscore, guys.
Jolly good. Hello Clipper, Merry Christmas.
2254.
Easy 73 on stand, 113 ready for taxi, ready for pushback.
Hold position.
Realign the IRS.
iniBuilds A300 clear to Dublin via land 6.
We've got, so in it, press, enter from 2 airports. So what have we got? Echo EGKK / Lille. And I'm using the documentation from iniBuilds for this. Return. Press. Verify lat long position. Press. And then align IRS. Press. So, there we go. Just popped up on here. IRS in a line at the moment as well. So that's working away. We've done the no smoking, seatbelt signs, hydraulic power panel set check, servo control panel check, flight recorder, ground control on. We'll just skip that. No switch, that's all the lights and signs, we'll leave those off.
552 request I-42 KJFK, standing on 145.
IRS must be aligned for pitch and yaw damper trims, but the ATS engine trims can go on. We'll just wait for the IRS to sort itself out in a short while. Ah, Dave Scott, welcome buddy, nice one. Don't let me forget, buddy. I'll make sure you are added into the what you call it, the new Sky stuff ASAP. Weight balance. We'll update from SimBrief.
Ready for taxi.
And we'll apply the load to the aircraft. So that's loading the aeroplane accordingly. Fueling the aircraft. We'll just finish that now as well.
145. Request I-42 KJFK.
Throttle calibration, by the way, folks, I've already done that. Very simple. Just press start calibration. It asks you to set idle. Once you're happy, you press that button there. It'll be green, and then it will flick to toga position, where you make sure that's right at the top. If you've got reversers on your access, I don't. I got the honeycomb Bravo, but if you do, you tick yes as well prior to doing any of that.
American 897, flight Airbus A300 stand 24 with information.
And it's got inside the EFB here its own pushback set up there as well, which is quite nice, along with all of these buttons which allow you to open all of the doors accordingly, set chocks and luggage and all that sort of thing. Right, so that's all done. I don't think there's a way to import. I don't think there's a way to import it across, is there? I might be wrong, but I don't believe there is. We'll go to ACAS. Request SimBrief. Oh, there is. I'm just teasing you guys.
Roger.
George, welcome buddy. Hello sir, loving the iniBuilds work. Can't wait for the A350 in 2024-2025. I know, right? It's going to be good fun. Make sure we've cleared that.
Gatwick ground, hello, clear John F. Kennedy, Northern 1 X-ray departure, squawk 7602.
And there's our routing. So, Northmer, Nibda, Hazel, Sam, iniBuilds, Marek and Lelna. Just making sure this is all going to tee up with how we need it.
Correct.
Gatwick ground, speedbird 1661, stand 32, type A350-900, looking for IFR clearance to Victor Romeo Mike.
Exemu.
India,
RSs are aligned, jolly good.
61, Gatwick ground,
And then
hello,
CLS
cleared
before
Mal,
Alicante.
Minfo 1 Mike departure,
Lovely.
squawk 053.
So we are the Monarch Airlines flight MON 252 or ZB 252 as it was in real life as well for their thing. And our cost index is 30, I do believe. Oh, 34.
Lufthansa 101, ready for taxi.
Lufthansa 101, left turn, Mike 126 left.
Cruise flight level 350, nav accuracy upgraded, and because that's now aligned, we can go up here and flick the switches for yaw damper and pitch trim. Got to make sure they're on as well, don't we? Okay, so Gen 1s are showing faulting because we don't have the engines on. I'm going to put all of this on now. Make sure we've got all of our pumps ready. You can see the APU fuel line there is green and ready to go for us as well. All the spoilers and speed brakes, flaps, slats, servos are low pressure, naturally.
Gatwick ground, good afternoon, Tomjet 445, information India, type.
And we'll go master switch on.
Stand 18, request IFR to Alicante.
MD11, request IFR clearance to Lima, Echo.
Oops, wrong button. There we go, APU start.
First, Tomjet 445, Gatwick ground, cleared Alicante, Bogner 1 X-ray departure, squawk 7574, QNH 1004.
We'll go to next page for the init-B. And if we click, it loads it in for us. So block fuel 18.8, that's what we've got loaded on the aeroplane. And zero fuel weight, we click and it'll add those in accordingly, which is really nice. Taxi, 400 kilos is what we're going to be using. So far everything seems very easy to set up and use. Poor Gatwick. Gatwick ground is doing a sterling job as always. We'll then turn our attention to the performance page now. So, runway 26 left here at Gatwick, runway updated, takeoff run is 2503. If we have an intersection departure today, we will actually need to ensure that we update that, so we might have to drop it by 100 metres and rerun the numbers. It's always something, if you do get an intersection departure, that's something you always must plan for. And just be wary of.
Speedbird 83, type Airbus A310 to Neo on stand 96 with
but just loading up the charts here, just have a little look. So we'll plan for Mike, but we might get Alpha, in which case we can drop 50 metres. So I'll plan for Alpha anyway. With that we can use the keyboard. So 2450. Change it slightly. Surface is wet, and we need the METAR now as well, which is really poopy. It's 190 at 17, gusting 31, QNH 1004. So it's really tricky weather, and the air temperature at the minute is plus 11. So we'll go 190 at 17. The gusts might catch us out.
We have information
and
India
1004. You can use your keyboard to type as well, but I'm showing you guys various different ways of doing it.
Cleared by the
Our weight is 136279 by pressing sync. It does, Mikhail, Ian. Yeah. So 136279 is our current weight, and we're going to plan for 15.15. So slats 15, flaps 15 for departure with air conditioning on, anti-ice off, and forced toga off. If we calculate that, we can see our V1 rotate and V2 speeds on the runway, and the flex suggested of 63 on our performance there as well. Showable horizontal stabilizer set to 0.0 down. Nice. So, what was that flex? 63. We'll set that there.
Easy 85 Alpha Victor cleared to Catania on the Bogner 1 X-ray departure, squawk 1076.
Easy 85 Alpha Victor correct. Break
And we'll
easy
just pop it
73,
back
Gatwick
on
ground.
auto.
Now it is your turn. Report to your
Either way,
aircraft
they
type.
mirror one another, if that makes sense. Charts back on your screen.
Cleared Manchester via the Lamborn 6 Mike departure. Squawk
Northmer is our
470,
departure, which runs to only 4,000 feet. So for that, we'll set for on our altitude select button and speeds
Seabird 1552 145.
B2 163 plus 10 173.
I wasn't requesting pushback, but okay.
Okay, easy
163. We pressed down to go in. Was it down or was it up? Up for preset. There we go.
Runway for departure.
Okay, Seabird 1552. That's for the Northern 1 X-ray.
And we'll go for 173 in the presets. Decision height will drop to -5 like the A310. And we'll run that like so on both. And we'll just cage this. I do love these. MPS, wow, that's how late we are. He's started descent into Alicante already. Fantastic.
3537.
There's the landing gear warning. Just to give you guys an idea, because they have done maintenance and failures in a few of the bits, which is really swish.
Easy 72 Golf Lima, go ground.
And we've got to write this in. So V1,
72 Golf Lima, good
149,
afternoon. Taxi
157,
Romeo,
163, and it's 31.2%, 0.0 down.
Stand 173, push and start approved, face south.
Oh, why did my pen have to go so far away?
Easy 73, clear to EGCC.
There we go. Dropping everything today.
407.
Oh, Malcolm, I haven't flown in a year now, buddy. Or just over a year and a bit. Was it almost a year?
Stand 173, push start approved, face
Come
south.
May, actually, it will be 1 year. I can't afford it. It's grossly expensive. £250 an hour to learn in a PA-28. And they wonder why there's a pilot shortage. Okay, there's our speeds. V2 set to the FCU 163, but with a preset of 173 to add the 10. Let's hide the charts. Mid-cabin door not closed. So,
Speedbird 1552. What's my
again, there's no GSX profile for this, but we can still use jetties and pushback as well. Door in transit, because it's in motion at the moment, being closed. And we've got the APU now shown available.
Thank you.
So we will.
Stand 20, push and start approved, straight push.
Trying to remember.
Push and start.
Easy 73, I need you to stop speaking over people, please. Squawk 4707.
Trying to remember now how to fire up the APU. Yeah, it's that one. So I think we have to turn off the external power and it automatically reverts across, doesn't it? Let's find out. Hold on, APU bleed on. That'll help.
Go ground if you're able. Easy 85 Alpha Victor. Request push, please.
Easy 85 Alpha Victor, stand 48, push and start approved.
Push and start approved. Easy 85 Alpha Victor.
Seabird 155, disregard, break Seabird 838, stand 906, push and start approved, face east.
Pack valves, ram air, econ flow, max call. Lead valves all automatic, high pressure valves.
Easy 73, squawk 4,
I haven't got clearance yet, no.
7.
I should probably get that now, actually, to be fair, before we get too deep into delays. So, bear with me. Gonna get the ATIS. What have we got? Juliet. Gatwick ground, good afternoon. Monarch 252 on stand 19, Airbus A300-600R with Juliet. QNH 1004, request clearance to Alicante, please.
Squawk 4707.
Gatwick ground, good afternoon. Cleared Alicante via the Northern 1 X-ray departure, squawk 6227.
Thank you, good afternoon. Cleared to Alicante, Northern 1 X-ray departure, squawk 6227, Monarch 252.
Monarch 252, correct.
Nice and easy. We set our QNH. We could just press the button.
Easy 218, radio check.
And because I've linked all of our controls and instruments, you can see that it's actually updating the standby instrument there, and also likewise the first officer's cluster 2.
8218
Squawk
Gatwick
then,
ground. Just take your
62.
stand number, please.
Yeah, we're requesting IFR to
6227.
Frankfurt. We're at stand 1 in an A320neo with information India, easy 218.
Easy 218, thank you. Cleared Frankfurt via the frame 1 Mike departure, squawk 2247.
Cleared Frankfurt by
Cool.
the
We'll put that on.
frame 1
Well, it's on
Mike
standby
departure,
actually. We'll leave it on
2247,
standby. It's
easy
probably the
218.
best way to do it. Transponder mode 1.
Correct.
After departure, we've got
2472,
12423 actually. 12423.
with you. 2472, continue altitude 26 left via, if that correction, that aircraft hasn't seemed to move. Alpha Tree 26 left via November and Alpha November.
So much setup, isn't there? Usually I do a lot of this pre-stream. 12423.
Easy 72 Golf Lima, taxi stand 554 of the Quebec and Quebec Charlie.
There's our weather radar. That's all off at the moment. I don't think there is a weather radar, but we'll explore that through the cruise. Where else are we? So we've done the takeoff page. Init A, Init B is set up and complete.
Type A300-600. Requesting IFR
Cost index of 34 is in, and we've cross-checked our flight plan, but we need to add in our departure. So Gatwick, Sid, 26 left. We'll use the up arrow to push it down. Novma 1 X-ray. Insert. So that's all done. Through Midhurst up to Novma. And we just make sure there's no discontinuities in this section because obviously that would cause us some problems. But that's everything. We'll pop it on the takeoff page, and here we'll use CDU2 for the flight plan element. Brake anti-skid is on normal. Heading select is going to be runway heading 257.
Easy 73 ready for taxi, squawk 4707. Easy 5 hotel clear.
Look at that. 2 5.
Easy 54 hotel, correct. Break easy 7 tree.
7.
Okay, I'm getting tired of you speaking over people, and you also,
Jeez.
your transponder is not turned on. So squawk 47.
I'm trying to think, if we got, it says APU available, have we done that right?
I can't move you until that's done.
It looks right,
Golf Charlie Mike Alpha Hotel.
doesn't it?
Information Juliet on board. Requesting VFR
Let's
clearance
whack the beacon
to
on.
Southampton with information Juliet.
Golf Charlie Mike Alpha Hotel, Roger. Hold position. There will be a.
Hey, iniBuilds in the chat.
Roger that. Possible flight delay.
Okay,
Golf
I think
Alpha.
we're there, folks, aren't we? We're looking groovy.
EC58 Echo Foxtrot, requesting radio check, please.
So what we'll use is we'll use start at A for today. Tomorrow we'll use B, and then takeoff has continuous relight as well for us to bear in mind using. Will you leave galley on shared? Lighting wise, that looks pretty good. We can use the little toggle there to change the glare shield brightness in the middle of the glare shield, and then down here we can change our primary flight display and all that as well, the instrument cluster. So we can turn all the lights up or down as required, including the floodlights.
Taxi Kilo Papa, hold short Juliet.
Kilo Papa, hold short Juliet, EJ85 Alpha Victor.
Osprey 2472, contact Gatwick Director 126.825.
Toggle to ground power.
126.825, Osprey 2472, stellar job today, mate.
So, GSX. Now this doesn't have, as a reminder, an official GSX profile yet. That's something that we'll have to wait for. Now what we're going to just bear in mind through this is we might get an unpredictable pushback. And that's because, yeah, it doesn't have an official one just yet. But it won't be long, I'm sure, before GSX officially support it. Flights to hello, buddy. Big names in the chat today. Welcome, mate. Good evening to you. Or good morning to you, rather. I suppose it's super early for you, isn't it? Oh, look, there we go. The aircraft does have a GSX profile. iniBuilds in the chat there. Fantastic. So we've got the nav lights on. We've got the beacon light flashing away there. We'll wait for the dispatcher just through the window there to bring us the ground pin, connect the tug up,
break easy 85 Alpha Victor, you've taken Kilo Alpha, no worries, right Kilo, left Papa.
It's nice to have an element of familiarity with this, bear in mind the A310 is a great bit of fun and we've been enjoying that a fair bit. Let's flick that up out of the way so it's not blocking some of the panels down here. We can pop APU on the screen, just have a little look. Look at that, there we go, we can see that it's in use.
Gatwick ground, hello, cleared Penbourne via the frame 1
So,
departure, squawk 7272,
from the ground, we're going to push start onto the Kilo taxiway and then we're going to route round November and probably get Alpha November to hold Alpha 1. We might get Mike 3, if we do that's even better. But Alpha we've planned for, we'll then line up and we'll use that displaced threshold for a takeoff run. And about halfway up we should get airborne onto the Novma 1 X-ray departure. Horrendous windy conditions and a lot of turbulence today. 257 degrees up to 4,000 feet, accelerating to 250 knots through the Midhurst VOR and then crossing Novma 250 knots at 4,000 feet before routing south over Southampton, English Channel, Brest, France, Bay of Biscay, and then round to Alicante. 2 and a bit hours.
Super 422, we are 787-X, information Juliet, stand 136, we'd like clearance to Dubai, please.
Seabird 422, cleared Dubai via the frame 1 Mike departure, squawk 5017 for QNH 1004.
We'll wait till we get...
Thanks very much, say again the squawk.
Let's turn that PFD down a little bit.
Squawk 5017.
Same with that one.
Clear via the frame 1 Mike departure, squawk 5017 QNH 1004, speed of 422.
Seabird 422, correct. Break easy 85 Alpha Victor, taxi holding point Alpha 2, runway 26 left via Papa and Alpha.
So we're just being patient and waiting for a natural stop.
26 left via Papa and Alpha Sierra, easy 85 Alpha Victor.
And Monarch 252, request push start, stand 19.
20 left to right,
Yeah.
Alpha 3, runway 26 left via Papa and Alpha November.
Stepped on him. Rudder trim set neutral.
Tomjet 445, request push and start.
Tomjet 445, stand 18, push and start approved, facing.
Oh, someone's just blocked me.
Push and start approved, face east.
And Monarch 252, request pushback.
Monarch 252, stand 19, push start approved, face west.
Push approved, face west, thanks. Monarch 252.
Seabird 838, taxi Alpha
Here we go.
3, runway 26 left via Papa and Alpha November.
So, we're right up the chuff of the terminal here.
Seabird 838, Gatwick ground.
Let's start her up, shall we, folks? So...
Super 61, requesting push start, stand 32.
What we got? Beacon, runway turn off light, that's all done, that's all done. Window heat switches are all ready. Air bleed panels set, checked. EFIS controls all set with decision height -5.
Seabird 61, hold position, traffic pushing behind.
Hold position 61.
Alpha Mike 789 at ground.
Okay, so, ignition. Mode A.
Go ahead.
Engine 2, start.
You were told to hold shot of Romeo there, you've gone past.
Starts open.
You can make a right turn, Papa, left Alpha November, hold Alpha 3.
Sorry about that, I woke up. 789.
Seabird 838, Gatwick ground.
Where's the N2? There it is. So through 20.
838, go ahead.
Seabird 838, hello. I don't appreciate you taxiing.
We're now going to throw
yourself.
fuel in, engine 2, open that up at 20%, and then we're monitoring the engine ECAM page there as well, which is why we've got that up.
Easy Alpha Tail, push and start.
Blue open light for engine 2 will be extinguished in a moment. It's that little light there, once the engine is spooled up enough.
Victor, contact Gatwick Director 126.825.
EGA 5 Alpha Victor.
What have we got here? Custom views, there we are.
Have a great day.
You two, break the Osprey looking for push, say again your call sign.
Osprey 20 Sierra Lima, requesting push and start from stand 568, information Juliet.
Osprey 20 Sierra Lima, squawk 6244, I'll call you back.
Start 1.
244, Osprey 20 Sierra Lima.
Seabird 838, contact Gatwick Director 126.825, bye bye.
Contacting Gatwick Director.
That noise. Hopefully you can hear it.
Ground. Ground good day.
Speedbird 155, do you request pushback?
With information, Juliet is type A320neo, requesting IFR clearance to the...
Speedbird 1552 and 145, push that through.
Throwing the fuel in.
Was there 111, Gatwick direct, correction Gatwick ground, hello, report your aircraft type.
A320neo.
Was there 111, thanks, cleared.
Oz Flight Simmer, this is my first proper flight in it, so it's hard to tell actually.
6465, QNH1004.
Cleared to November.
Oh, there goes the tug driver.
1 Mike departure, 46465.
Alrighty, so that's done. After start flow,
Alpha Mike 789, hold position.
we'll go back to the status normal there.
From gate 555, we have QNH1004.
Easy 407 Foxtrot 555, push that proof face south.
Alpha Mike 789.
I reckon we'll leave the. There we go. We need the flight control status page. That's what we need. Up here, we will pop that onto continuous relight for the engine start. We'll pop galley power in as well.
Thank you, Alpha Mike 789.
Both engines running, so APU can now go off.
555, push that proof face south.
For dual engine running, anti-ice as required. We'll pop probes all on, rudder trim, reset,
And I'll spray 20 Sierra Lima 5.
and then check 0.
Push that proof face south.
Speed brake arm.
Push and start approved, facing south, Osprey 20 Sierra Lima.
I don't think there is an arm.
Gatwick ground,
Water brake max.
15, requesting push and start.
Stand by. There we are. Slats flat set for takeoff. So a couple of clicks, we'll go for 15-0. We actually want 15-15. 2 slats, trimmable horizontal stabilizers set 0-0. And that's the after start checklist complete. We'll pop the taxi lights on, which is there. We can see as well all of the hydraulics and slats panel there of all of those low pressure warning lights have all been extinguished now. So we do want to double check as well, of course. We can pop the APU bleed off. APU is off now anyway because you can see the panel automatically switch across to bleed engine 1 and 2 instead of the APU. Because I forgot that switch when I turned it off. Whoops, my bad. And all the cabin heating is set to... Does that rotate? No, it doesn't. That's fine. Okay.
Looking for IFR radar vector circuits.
So if we fiddle around with this,
Roger, there will be a delay.
we can go left and right. You can see the deflections on the control surfaces.
You faced the wrong way there. That might be my fault. I'm not sure. Just hold position. I'll get you turned.
And the same with rudder. Back to neutral.
Sorry, can you repeat? Speedbird 155.
And left. If we look on the outside, we can see the relevant deflections like so. So rudder's a little bit leisurely, isn't it? For this old bird. Ailerons, full right. And there we go, full left. You can see those flaperons as well move. We'll make sure that's set to flex. I think we're ready.
Walker 143, Gatwick ground. Hello, cleared to Casablanca by the north.
Part brake off. Gonna hold it on the brakes for now.
QNH 1004.
I've got a pre-selected 250 now actually.
2720, Walker 1443.
Walker 1443, a firm and just consider QNH 1004.
So preset, is that done?
Walker 1443, correct.
Flight directors are on. Monarch 252, request taxi.
1521.
Oh, jeez.
That was A346. Requesting clearance IFR to Casablanca as well.
Walker 1.
Nav and profile needs arming, I think, from memory.
Hello, clear Casablanca by the November 1 X-ray departure. Squawk 4.
Burning loads of fuel.
6, the QNH 1004.
Clear IFR destination Casablanca, Northma 1 X-ray departure, squawk 4246, copy weather information.
System 1, we'll pop transponder on to standby mode, well, transponder mode, takeoff config, test, which is that button there.
Please repeat last transmission, welcome 151.
That's fine.
Welcome 1521, your readback was correct. Break easy 54 hotel.
Can't get in, it's too busy. Alt cell is first stop altitude. 4,000.
Speedbird 1552 now facing the right direction. We get taxi.
Calling Monarch 252, yeah, requesting taxi, please.
Right, 252, thanks. Taxi Alpha 2, runway 26 left via Papa and Alpha Sierra.
Taxi Alpha 2, 26 left via Papa and Alpha Sierra, Monarch 252, thanks. So taxiing on idle. So all I've done is just release the brakes. And it's just starting to creep forwards for us rather nicely. On the outside, look at that. A lot bigger than the A310, isn't it, folks? The A310 is quite dinky in comparison, but what a majestic aircraft. Oh, it's an A350! The aircraft package from iniBuilds, when this does get released, over the next couple of days, it will include this passenger version that we're enjoying today and the cargo version, which we'll be enjoying tomorrow for some FedEx ops. Just going to dab the brakes a little bit. So the aeroplane will want to accelerate up itself. What we'll do is then just dab the brakes and allow it to decelerate before allowing it to then build that speed back up again. We've got a 17 knot crosswind and a 10 knot headwind, and that's not counting the gusts for departure today. So very tricky. It's not like the Airbus A320 where you can just allow the aeroplane to balance itself. In fact, what we need to do is a little bit more akin to the Boeing 737, pop the stick into wind. Unless I'm wrong, iniBuilds, do correct me. But this is kind of a little bit half Boeing-esque with the way it works. And similarly, half Airbus as well.
Push start approved, face south, speedbird 422.
That's the default view. It's a little bit high up, so I've now set this one instead, which is a little bit more of a kind of balanced look out the flight deck window as well. Round we go. EasyJet touching down, 26 left there. Longer aircraft, so we've got to factor that into the turn. Make sure we don't cut the corner too much.
8407 Foxtrot, taxi Lima Papa, hold short.
Gatwick's so busy, isn't it? We're so delayed. This is great, my goodness. My plans today were to make sure we were all done, the stream was all complete prior to it getting dark, so I could take my dog out again with a little bit of daylight. How was everyone's Christmas, by the way? I had a great time. Nice to spend a bit of time with some family. First time for me, first year for me without my mum, which is a bit odd. You think, oh, I'll call me dad, I'll give me mum a call. Oh wait, I can't. So it's a bit of a weird one. A year of firsts, we could probably say. So waiting for the handoff now to tower. 124230. Alpha Sierra is this one. There's all of our custom views.
1552. They shouldn't be there. If you want to go around them, that's fine. You can taxi Alpha 3, runway 26 left via Juliet, Papa, and Alpha November.
God, he dropped them brakes off with power up, didn't he? Accelerated rapidly.
Juliet, Papa, Alpha November, Speedbird 1552.
I think we're ready for it, folks.
EZ218 requesting taxi.
Tower 124.230. Good day.
Tower 124230 for Monarch 252. Amazing job. Merry Christmas. Thanks to the ATC. Bye.
Merry Christmas.
After this, we've got Gatwick Director 126825. 126825. So I'm just going to gently come to a stop here and then get that tuned in. 12825. So it's always about forward planning on VATSIM. Who's the next person I need to speak to? Right. Gatwick Tower, good afternoon. Monarch 252's at Alpha 2, ready for departure. 26 left.
Monarch 252 heavy, Gatwick Tower, hello, please.
And we hold there.
Easy 1908.
Part brake set.
19018, testing 29, runway 26 left, clear to
My
land.
keybind doesn't seem to work for that, so I'll manually click it. Make sure we don't cross that.
252, begin the landing east at Airbus 320 on a 3 mile final. Line up runway 26 left, behind.
Behind the landing, traffic on short final, line up 26 left, behind Monarch 252.
Good afternoon, Contact 199 Papa, showing us established 9 miles, 26 left, 160 to 4.
Easy 54 hotel.
No idea what to expect for this departure, folks.
825. Bye-bye.
I'm going to get the strobes on ready.
85, D5 Patel, bye.
So, lineup clearance is obtained after. Brake fans are already off anyway. No switch will pop to takeoff.
Continue approach, 26 left, 199 Papa.
Land switches are almost on. Wing lights will pop on anyway. Strobes are now on for the lineup. Beacons already on. Runway turn-off lights are on. Nav and logo lights are on. Ignition is set to continuous. Packs are on. TCAS will set to TARA, which is that one. And that's because we're probably going to be given immediate clearance to take off once he's vacated. So that's all set. Panel is done. I always get nervous about flying these new aircraft in the sim for the first time. I don't know why. Lining up. Little bit of power just to keep us going.
Number 1, continue approach, 26 left. Number 1, continue approach, 26 left.
We can't mess around on this departure, folks. There's all of the lights flashing away anyway. Can't see any strobes yet though. Strobes are on.
Scout Tower, Tomjet 445, holding mic 1.
Tomjet 445, Gatwick Tower, hello, hold mic 1.
Okay.
Hello Tower, Speedbird 155.
Gently on the brakes, and I'm just going to hold it on the brakes. We've got flex set as the mode. Little bit of stick forwards and left into wind.
Sorry, I didn't understand Speedbird 1552.
Monarch 252, subsequent 190.18 knots, casting 29, runway 26 left, clear for takeoff.
That's windy. Runway 26 left, Monarch 252 is clear for takeoff. Brakes off, 40%, looking good.
Continue approach,
Toga.
Clearance, 199 Papa.
Easy 198 to second right onto Juliet, hold short from here.
Oh, that's spool up noise.
Second is the 198.
Easy 198.
Which has suddenly got very quiet.
Juliet, hold short uniform.
80 knots.
Juliet and no short uniform, easy 198.
Oh. Oh.
Speedbird 1552, hold position at Alpha 3.
Holding position Alpha 3.
Bloody gusts, my goodness. Come on, girl. V1. Rotate. Oh my goodness. Whey! Look at that! Scooped into the air. Positive rate. Gear up. Sporty. My goodness, this wind. We got 188 at 28 there, so 28 knot crosswind with the gusts. Horrendous. Can you guys hear the noise? Oh, I can't really hear it. Autopilot 1 engaged.
Speedbird Concorde 1552, behind the landing, Tomjet Boeing.
We'll go to CL
on a 1 mile final. Runway 26
for now.
Line up and wait behind.
Line up and wait.
And we'll clean the aeroplane up as well.
There appears to be an accident there.
Gear is up, no lights. We will then lock the handle in the centre.
Speedbird 1552 didn't copy.
That's in automatic and CL on the limiter mode.
Monarch 252, contact director 126.825. Bye bye.
126.825 for director Monarch 252. Thanks, bye.
Easy 85.
Hoping in a moment we're going to level off.
Heading 290 degrees.
290, Lima Tango. Correction, 29.
Ryanair 3 Juliet Foxtrot, descend to altitude 4,000 feet.
Descending 4,000, Ryanair 3 Juliet Foxtrot.
Director, hello, Monarch 252's 4,000, November 1 X-ray.
Monarch 252, climb now, flight level 80.
Climb now, flight level 80, Monarch 252. Level change. 250.
Gatwick Direct, Shuttle 2 Mike A320, information Juliet on board, currently flight level 120, descending to flight level 040, on the Kidley 1 Golf arrival.
Shuttle 2 Mike, Gatwick Director, descend now, flight level 140.
Look at that. Gatwick behind us.
Landing runway 26 left, no delay.
Landing runway 26 left, no delays, and descend flight level 120, Shuttle 2 Mike.
Some spool up noises.
Easy 85 Lima Tango, turn left heading 270 degrees.
Wanted to fly Monarch today because it brings back memories of me as a child, at least with the airline flying. They had DC-10s, I think, as well, didn't they? And they were very similarly configured in case one went tech. They had the correct load then in the alternative aircraft. There's the left turn. We saw those we saw the flaperons, so the ailerons pop up there a moment ago as well, looking really cool. See that? Good jump into the flight deck, make sure we're all good here.
Speedbird 127, you're outside my control area, I'll call you back.
Pull standard. That's a huge drop in pressure, so we're already at flight level 80.
Lima Tango, report established, localizer runway 26 left.
Couple of custom views for today.
Easy 54 Hotel, climb now, flight level 80. Correction, 130.
Climb 130, Easy 5 Hotel.
Easy 85 Lima Tango, have runway localizer established.
Easy 85 Lima Tango, continue approach, descend with the glide slope.
We'll continue to approach and descend with the glide.
So one thing we need to potentially bear in mind is icing conditions through all of this. This is really murky weather, isn't it?
Ryanair 3 Juliet Foxtrot, turn left heading 330 degrees.
Bandit DD, welcome. Up to Tom Jet behind, just crashed on the runway, brilliant. Was he struggling with the wind, perhaps?
Easy 85 Lima Tango, speed 180 knots until 4 DME.
180 till 4 DME, 85 Lima Tango.
Speedbird 901 uniform, descend flight level 80.
Descend flight level 80, Speedbird 901 uniform.
Monarch 252, climb now, flight level 130.
Climb now, flight level 130, Monarch 252. Right, we'll pop the continuous relight off.
Speed 180 knots, turn left heading 330.
And we've got the bleeds on there. Packs are on as well.
330 and speed 180, yeah, that's...
The Ryanair 3 Juliet Foxtrot, turn left now, heading 290.
Left 290, Ryanair 3 Juliet Foxtrot.
Can you guys hear those sounds from the engines enough? Because to me they sound incredibly quiet in the background today.
Speedbird 1552, Gatwick Director. Monarch 252, no further ATC, Monarch Unicom 122.8.
Unicom for Monarch 252, thanks to the ATC, good day.
Speedbird 1552 to departure.
Speedbird 1552, Gatwick Director, continues.
They had a particular roar yesterday which really stood out with this new package. I don't know if they've done something to the sounds and kind of made them a little quieter. I'll turn the master sounds up, I suppose. That might work. There we are. So we'll turn that up, we'll just see how we get on with that. Okay, so where are we? Unicorn 1228 through to 13,000. Actually, what we'll do now is we'll just continue climb up to our cruise of 360, and we'll use profile mode through 10,000. Let's get the landing lights off as well. Strobes and beacons are left with the nav lights, and we'll keep the passengers seated for now as well. I'm looking forward to this breakout. Look at that. Sounds a bit better now though, doesn't it? And the strobes reflecting off the surface of the wings. Beautiful. Proper pea soup commentator, absolutely. Really looking forward to next year. So we've got the iniBuilds A310 releasing, by the sounds of it, tomorrow, if not at some point this evening, because they've said by the end of the year, by the end of this week as well, and they said on Discord yesterday that they won't release on a Friday. So because of that, I would therefore assume, sounds like a release might be today or tomorrow, which is very interesting, very exciting. We've then also got Just Flight continuing to work on their various aeroplanes, like the Avro RJ and a few other bits. The Fokker F-70 and F-100, which would be quite cool. PMDG's 777 is now in beta testing, which is what I'm super excited for. Really, really looking forward to that. Are we targeting 320? I hope so. Just watching that speed there. It's about right, I think. 2,000 foot per minute. And don't forget, I've turned this off so it only has straight lines. It doesn't draw the arc. Like the real aeroplane, it just had straight lines. Couldn't draw curved lines, so that's what we're doing that for. You can see now as well, like dirt on the windshield, which is really cool. It's probably icing actually, isn't it? But we've got windshield heat on. Wing supply on as well. I think I'll be safe with this. And now I can't hear anything outside the flight deck. Engines are super quiet. Yeah, there's like a bit of a difference there with the sound file. Look, nothing. Lots. Look at these. All of these custom views, by the way, folks, that we're cycling through, I've put them on flightsim.to for you guys to all enjoy once this beautiful bird releases. You can download it, put the custom views straight in, and enjoy these views that we're using today. And the same ones tomorrow, because we'll be flying the FedEx East Midlands to Liège and back. There's a clear difference in the sound there, isn't there? Including the flight deck, which I'm sure is an easy fix. TAT in icing range. We've got icing on, so that's a good thing. 20,000 feet and still in deep, deep pea soup. Look at that. Lots of weather around us as well, so the weather radar's working wonderfully. We'll just have to keep everybody strapped in. Alfaz, welcome on board. Thanks for subscribing. Oh, here comes the breakout, folks. One of the best bits about Microsoft Flight Simulator is pretty much this moment that we're about to get if we get through the cloud. MPS had clouds to flight level 370, my goodness. What horrible weather. Here we go. Look at that. Oh! Oh! Yeah, boy! Where's that Ainsley Harriott meme when you need it? Yeah, boy. That is stunning. God, look at the cloud. And that roar. But these external sounds work. Rob, welcome buddy, joining us as a silver frequent flyer. Great to have you on board with us. Thanks for joining. Look at those visuals, folks. And that aeroplane as well. Superb. Roaring up. God, look at that hole there in the cloud. And we've just come through that little gap there between those big cumulonimbus. Horrible weather. Oof. We'll keep everybody seated for now. I think that'd be wise, wouldn't it? I think we'll keep the icing on just for a wee bit longer. Look at that. Super 2019 React Dev, welcome mate. Thanks for subscribing. Ashton, welcome mate as well. Can't remember if I said hello to you earlier on. Apologies if I didn't. Look at the cloud. Just stunning. Definitive issue with the kind of the way that the noise works at the moment in this package that we had. The last package didn't have that problem, I don't think. Don't remember it having that problem. Seatbelt signs off.
Down 908 traffic, Golf 152, ready flight PC12. Is with takeoff number 05 for direct outbound departure to Glasgow.
Dawood's Aviation, welcome aboard. Super busy at Gatwick. Let's have a little look at Volanta and see where we're at so far. I've got a number of screenshots that we've taken today. I'll put them all on Volanta. I'll share a few, put them on Instagram as well, and our Facebook page and our Discord. But there's our routing. This horrible weather that we are pretty much flying over all the way past Guernsey, and it stretches to the Bay of Biscay, which is incredible. Badger's right up the front there. Already we've got a few of the other guys that are flying along. Where are they? Ascot 2205 there as well. He's just got airborne. Ian's had a CTD. He's reloading. There we are. Ian there 2472. So he'll be loading in again imminently. But our routing should be, once we get past the Bay of Biscay or onto the Bay of Biscay, it should get quite nice for the arrival, at least into Alicante on the east coast of Spain. If we zoom into Gatwick, look at how busy that is. My goodness. Well, I think we got out of a good time, didn't we? Albeit delayed, but I think we got out just in time before a bit more of a mad rush started. Klaus says, what do you think about the A350 that iniBuilds have announced as their surprise project? I'm very excited for it. Very excited for it, but I do think that's such a modern aircraft. It's probably difficult to do well, and I'm not sure how long it might take. I reckon they're going to be looking at 2025 for a release. Realistically, I don't know if they pull it off in 2024. I'm going to be amazed, but I am super excited for the A350. I think it's a remarkable aircraft, and I think it looks brilliant, and it's a majestic piece of modern engineering as well. So I think there's a lot going for it. If they can get it done in the sim right, I think it's going to be absolutely amazing. We're going to enjoy that a lot. Oh, look at that! There's our little GoPro view. Even the little details here, like the heated elements on the windshield just below the wiper there. Lovely. Great bits of detail. Now for those of you with sort of performance issues on your PCs, that if you've got a slightly older rig, for example, or one where you run the sim in lower settings because of the capabilities of the hardware that you have, iniBuilds have also done a texture thing within the product. So when you download it on the iniManager, those of you with slower systems, And there's a button that will then change your textures to a lower resolution to help with performance. So they've thought of the wider community as well, which is really nice to see. Typical charter, Mikhail, delayed. Yeah, indeed. So the last kind of the latter part of Monarch Airlines, when they went bust, people were boarding flights that were then getting cancelled. People were boarding flights where there was no catering. Even the hand soap would run out and then wouldn't be restocked, which was the signs. That was one of the signs for crew thinking that their airline was on a bit of a financial wobble. Ian, yeah, that's a new one for me. Don't know. Have to done a crash report on Zendesk for Ian. Wow. Wonder why. I mean, those of you who have been watching this aircraft now for a fair few, well, for the last 2 days, I'm interested to hear what you think of this, having watched it on various other content creators as well over the last couple of days. You know, have you been impressed with it? What's your favourite feature that you've seen on the aeroplane so far? I'm interested to hear all of it. So do share your thoughts in the comments section in our live chat today, and we will discuss. And if there's features that you want to see that I've not yet seen or shown off, like that, oh yeah, then we can dive into those features as well. That's really cool, isn't it? Look at that. They've got that just right. Doesn't help the midget pilot for the camera view, but they have put the seat right there, so that does make sense. Do the same with that one as well, I think, can't we? Where is it? That one doesn't work. This is a pre-release build, of course. Is the loo working? Mikhail says it's not, no. I don't think it is anyway. I suppose we could go and find out, couldn't we? We'll pop the weather tilt onto 3 down. 1228, 6227, that's all good. Let's go to the pressure screen. Cabin pressure's good, cabin altitude still increasing, look, 5415. So that's good, nice to see that that's all working normally. The flight deck windows, they do not open, no. I've not found a way to open them anyway. This isn't modelled. But again, is that a feature we need? I would say probably not, to be fair. I only open the window every now and again just as a bit of a gimmick to hear the sounds increase and decrease as you open and close it. That's the only kind of time I would bother with it myself. But that's me, I know everybody's different. Everybody likes a slightly different experience, don't they? Let's make sure our heading book is aligned with our track. In fact, if we align it with our heading, which is the Diamond, we've got at the moment a 104 knot headwind already. So the wind is punishing us today. And that cloud structure below looks pretty hairy, doesn't it? I wouldn't like to be flying into Guernsey this time of year, that's for sure. Or Jersey. Short runways, narrower runways, and all in that horrible weather below. I think that'd be a spare change of trousers kind of day. Dare says he was hoping for the A380 to come out by the end of this year. Well, if you mean the fly-by-wire one, I've been saying for the whole year now that won't be coming out until at some point mid-2024. I estimated summer 2024 at least, because of how complex it is. Yes, they are showing teasers of it and all that sort of stuff, but that doesn't mean it's anywhere near finishing or close to release or anything like that. And there's a lot of work left to be done with that, so I assume same with the A380 from iniBuilds as well. It's such an incredibly complex aircraft as well. Having flown on one as crew for 3 years, a wonderful piece of engineering, but there's a lot to it that people don't necessarily appreciate, like the way the flaperons and stuff activate in turbulence to smooth out the turbulence. The way those wings sweep up as well will be quite difficult, I'm sure, to model and get right. Rix, hello buddy, asking spec questions. Let me just trigger the command there in the live chat for you. Once you've read that, I'll trigger the METAR command for Gatwick as well, so you guys can see the weather after at Gatwick that we just left. It was pretty horrendous. So it's the worst weather I've flown in a while now. So there is just took off. The turbulence after departure is crazy, he says. It's tough, isn't it? There it is. So that's the weather at the moment at Gatwick. We've just taken off from there. 190 at 18 knots, gusting 29, variable between 160 degrees and 220 degrees. All the nines. Scattered clouds at 1,400, broken at 2,000. Temperatures 11 degrees, 2.9 degrees. QNH 1003 now there. So really horrible weather. Now if we compare that to the current METAR at Alicante, V1 Sim, hello buddy, welcome. How have you been finding this? And Bandit Flight Simmer, great to have you on board. Look at that, much better in Alicante, isn't it? A balmy 17 degrees, that's t-shirt weather, that. Origami Studios Gatwick, via iniBuilds for Gatwick Airport that we used today. And Alicante, by the way, is created by our very own Hergy1234 in the live chat, so big thank you to you creating that. We've got Alicante freeware ready to go for that. It's going to be lovely. Dare says he lives in Jersey. The weather right now is pants. He's landed the A310 here in the past. He works out the airport. Biggest planes that can land here is TriStar, and they've had a 757 a couple of years ago as well. Nice. Zach, yeah, they're very similar. They are very similar, as you can see. The flight deck itself looks almost the same as the A310, but they are from the same era as well, don't forget. But yeah, you've kind of got to put half a Boeing hat on and half an Airbus hat on for this, which makes it quite enjoyable. At cruise now, and we can see our little limiting mode has gone to CR for cruise in automatic mode. If that fails at any point, we can just press these separate buttons here, flex, toga, MCT, climb and cruise. As and however we need. 17 is winter for Scott. Yeah, for you in Perth, I'm sure it is. It's alright for some. We take 17 degrees as a lovely bit of warmth here. Clever Trevor, welcome buddy. Hyped for Monarch, I see. There's that livery. I might turn the external sounds down a wee bit. Those CF6s roaring away. I think they do need to tweak the sound file a little bit by the looks of it, because we get no sound in the first up to doors 2, and then we get interior sound from them, which is a bit odd. A bit of a shame in a way, because we've missed that roar on departure. That is so nice, and they've done a great job of replicating that sound as well, for what it's worth. So I'm sure they'll probably have that fixed in no time, hopefully in time for tomorrow's live stream. Look at that. Oh, got our contrails out as well. You can see through those engines actually. Look, just take a moment just there to look through them engines. A couple of options, lots of liveries that are available, all downloadable via the iniManager as well. So Monarch, for example, have got a few versions, including the small text one, which is the livery previous to this one that they had on their aircraft, where Monarch is just written by the top of doors 2, and that's kind of it, that old school Diamond Service feel. Des says, would I ever do a transatlantic flight with this? Well, I think I'm never a fan of long hauls anyway in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I think it's because they are pointless for streams, because you guys might tune in for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then head off, and then come back again for landing, or dip in and out throughout the cruise. But then I've got to sit here for 8 hours. But that's a bit of a slog, isn't it? I don't find them that enjoyable, long calls. Unless you're taking part in something like Cross the Land or Cross the Pond, that sort of big event. That's when they really start to come into their own, and they're quite fun. Which actually makes me remember, have you guys seen the update from Horizon Simulations for that freeware 787-9? They're working on that big multifunction display in the middle now. They're working on having full ACARS integration and data links built into it, which is really amazing. Dan Nix, epic, nice one, buddy. Welcome aboard the Osprey Airways crew. If you don't know what that is, folks, that's our channel's very own virtual airline. The best in flight simulation. Of course I'd say that. Lovely. Look at that interior. Hey, that reminds me as well. Remember about 6, 7, 8 months ago, GSX came out and said, oh, we're going to create... There's no sound in this bit. Weird. Sound stopped. We're going to create passengers that sit in the flight deck throughout your journey. And they never have actually done that, have they? They've not got round to it. Let's see if there's toilets, sir. I'm not expecting it. Oh, look at that! Blue tap and red tap. Old school. I remember those. It's the small things. But yeah, no flush. But that's nice to see. They've actually put that in. Good. Techers. Oh. Very nice. They weren't that shiny in the year 2000 at the end of Monarch Airlines, that's for sure. In fact, fun fact for you. I think it was Monarch Airlines, they did a test. Oh, look at that. They did swabs inside a toilet once on board a Monarch Airlines flight. It's a bit of a test. Sent them off to the lab and they found pretty much every bit of bacteria you could ever get, and various viruses all over the toilet. So absolute filth. I've got it on an NVMe, Rix. They're both NVMEs. So Andrew says this is when you like to fly in the sim or visit in real life tropical resorts to get some sunshine, because the weather is grey, miserable, absolutely wet, cold for him in Vancouver Island, for here in the UK as well. Here's the galley. All the details there. I remember the 767 had a waste hatch there in real life. The A300 doesn't have that, but the 767, if we ever get one in the sim, should do. That was always great fun, throwing waste down there. And they've got the seat config just right with these 2 seats in that rear section there, where it narrows down for quite a few rows. Or the aisle gets a bit wider. Take to the Skies, welcome as well. Well, yeah, they've got another priority now, haven't they, with pushback, which then also pulls the aircraft forward in custom pushbacks, which is quite cool. But I think it's one of those GSX promised the passengers and then they just forgotten about it and just kicked it down the road. Well, how about just get everything else done first, then work on releasing something. Tell us about it when it's ready for release, like aircraft developers do most of the time as well. The sound stops again there, phases out and then just stops. But I'm sure that's probably quite an easy change for them to sort out. Front lav with baby changing facilities. I've got to say, the cabin, the detail in the cabin is really nice, isn't it? They've done a great job with this. Scott Gray, what's the passenger capacity? Depends on the aircraft configuration, really. Let's go back into the flight deck. Look at, it's quite cool actually, because this is where your head would be looking down on the aeroplane, and that looks so realistic. Looking down on the flight deck before you kind of lean forwards and nestle down to take your seat, that sort of thing. There's the jump seat as well. Doesn't do anything, not animated. Frankly, doesn't need to be. I've always been a little bit on the side of we don't need an animated jump seat, or that sort of thing. Give me good systems and stuff instead of there in the business end where it matters. MPS Gaming's asking about the Osprey Airways A300 configurations. It's going to be replicating the Monarch Airlines config, I think, the way we're going to try and set our A300s up. As best as, or as close to as possible. No, Clipper Thompson, or what is now TUI, of course, so I was on their 767-300s. So nestling into cruise quite happily, Mach 8 at the moment. We can, if we want to, that button there can fiddle around with it, but we can actually change the speed. It will quite happily do Mach 8.2 or Mach 8.3 as well, actually, if we want to ride the pole there. So we'll now go to manual mode and go Mach 8.2. This button flicks between speed and Mach there on conversion, but obviously we're flight level 360, so we'll use Mach 8.0. And the heading select still got a 98 knots sort of headwind / crosswind. What we'll do is we'll make sure our heading selector is in line with our heading, like so. That yellow diamond. Medin, ask where we are. It should be at the top of your screen, showing you roughly where we are. What we'll do is I'll fire up Volanta once again, so you guys can see. We are at the moment just passing Guernsey. Guernsey's there. We're just, in fact, we're past Guernsey. We're just about to tickle the coast of France in the Brest region before heading over Vans-Lorient, just between those two towns, and then the Bay of Biscay. So a lot of work to do, a lot of catching up to try and do. Everyone else is already down, look. MPS Gaming's already touched down, and a few others are already ahead. Peter's ahead, Badger's well ahead. And I'll put those screenshots in as well, wonderful. Weather's shocking at the moment, and it should be the same tomorrow as well, roughly. All of this weather system battering the UK with a storm, I can't remember the name of it now, over the next 2 days. Tomorrow we're going to head out of East Midlands Airport, Nottingham East Midlands there, beautiful Pyre Devco. And we're going to work our way to Liège, which is down here somewhere. Can't remember where it is. It's down here somewhere anyway. We're going to head to Liège, and then from Liège we're going to turn around and fly back to East Midlands. So we're going to do 2 sectors tomorrow. That's the plan, flying FedEx. They actually do the route in real life on a 757-200 freighter, but we don't have that. But I thought it'd be a perfect route because A, it shows the cargo version, which we haven't explored on this channel yet, and then B, it will show 2 sectors instead of the 1, so it will show turnarounds and how the aircraft handles that. Air conditioning, engine, SATs. So we'll go back to the main kind of cruise page now. That's looking quite nice. Just settle in. Tomorrow we're looking at 1300 UTC UK time. Rory, good evening to you over in Perth. Welcome aboard. Oh, what was the other one I set? I think... No, is it that one? That's 2. Which means... I'm trying to work out the custom views I've set. So all of these... That's quite a cool one. I thought maybe it's the freight version. I set one on the wings. So we kind of like moved the camera all the way up here. It still technically thinks we're inside the aircraft with these internal views. What we've done is we've tricked the files to make it think we're outside. And then the sound stops. But look at that. Gives you the opportunity to actually venture out and admire the model of the aircraft as well, the livery work, the texturing, all those rivets. Look at that. Remarkable bit of work. Oh, juicy. So I mean that's one glaring thing at the minute. Just they've got to fix the sounds and the way the sounds interact around the aircraft, inside and out. and we'll see how we go. I'm sure they'll get that sorted in good time. Have you guys all seen the PMDG update as well for the 777? I don't know if you have or haven't. On the PMDG forums, that's the best place to find that information from the folks at PMDG. But they've shared a couple of teasers for us to enjoy for the 777. Now well established into its beta phase as well, so they're already looking at previews, more previews over the next few weeks into the next couple of months. Very, very excited for all of that. That's the one, as we've seen in the Navigraph survey, the aircraft there everybody is waiting for. Absolutely everybody's waiting for. Yeah, wing lights are still on. Good shout, Callum. We can turn them off now. I left them on through all the cloud because of the rather nasty weather that we had. Sathira says the Alicante winds are going to be a bit of a surprise. Mountains close by, they're going to probably give us a bit of turbulence as well. I wouldn't wreck, so what I'd do is I would use add-on linker to install your stuff onto the second SSD and then link the two. I don't do too many predictions, Rory, to be fair. Asking when do we predict the 777 to come out? It would be a sheer guess, but I reckon maybe March, April. I'd be surprised if it was any earlier. What I'll do, I'll whack it up on the screen so you guys can see the 4 photographs. They are beautiful. What have we got? Let's go. There we are. Look at that. And what they've actually done is they've done the LED work on the... I wonder if I can zoom in. Oh, it's not going to let me, is it? Choffing elk. Open image in new tab. Here we go. Those of you who know the 777 will know that kind of weird distortion that you get when you look at the flight deck window, and PMDG have actually put that in, and that's the way the light reacts around the kind of strengthened glass in the flight deck. It's quite incredible. Beautiful bit of work from them there. Really, really nice, and that is mega impressive to see that. So it shows you, just that alone shows you the level of detail they've put into this. There it is again, look. If I open image in new tab and then zoom on in, use my special video editing software. There we go. Look at that. You can see the rainbow effect there. Really impressive. But also, I don't know if you can see, a little sneak preview there of some of the struts and stuff as well, and the hinge work. So there's a lot of really fine detail gone into this. What have we got? Number 3 gives us the rear of the aeroplane, and I mean that just looks stunning. I've got nothing really to say with that apart from it looks, yeah, stunning. However they've made it, it looks brilliant, doesn't it? Just complete magnificence. And the way the light bounces off the various surfaces as well is just remarkable. And you can see again all of the structure, the skin of the aircraft, and all of those rivets and joints and everything else really stand out on that PMDG paint scheme. And then there as well, reflecting the opposite way. Just absolutely cannot wait for that. And that's all on the PMDG forums here. And you can read that. That was a Christmas Day update from Robert Randazzo. So all of the images, as you can see there, on the Drzecki Studios KPAE scenery. Strong by recommendation from them. So of course that's where the aircraft is manufactured as well. And the 777X I think is being made there too, isn't it? So it adds to the character of the airport. It was also a good place to base your first few flights into and out of potentially as well. And they mentioned there about that colour distortion we were just speaking about. So as that light reflects through the cockpit glass from that angle of the photograph, it shows you the way that they've kind of modelled the unique methods treating the glass in real life for additional strength. They've kind of modelled that into the sim, which is really remarkable. But yeah, subtle details, but incredibly convincing to the eye. and in MSFS look incredibly realistic as well. So looking forward to see what more we get from PMDG over the next few weeks, really. Flight testing program for the 777 continues to run well. Busy week for the beta team, with 200 fault reports during the course of the first flight phase of testing. And that's one thing that I have noticed with PMDG's beta testing as well. Their beta testers are significantly experienced, and they're very accurate as well. They know exactly what they're looking for. The team works hard and works quickly and accurately to kind of squash bugs as they appear. And about half of those resolved by Saturday evening. And on Christmas Day they would have had another new build sent to them. So that shows you how quick they work, how accurate they work, and how dedicated they are. Pretty cool. But yeah, more previews in the days and weeks ahead. And Robert himself very happy with the pace and character of the testing they've done so far, and he promises to deliver a remarkable aircraft. I can't wait. They've got a true to life simulation of the aeroplane in all phases as well. It's going to be a true market leader, I think, and it's going to show exactly why PMDG have got such a great name for themselves as well. Aviation Sim, welcome buddy. The photographs were the 200, I believe. Ultimator saying, missed the departure, how did the A306 feel hand flying? Did it feel heavy? It felt a little twitchy, a little sporty actually, to be fair. But we were getting smashed with gusts. I found it was quite difficult to maintain that runway centre line, so actually I was having to use some toe brakes, my right toe brake, in order to try and maintain that centre line. Just a tiny little bit of application of the brakes, which is not ideal at all, especially when failures are rendered into the aeroplane. So I don't know if it's a behaviour issue, probably a skill issue. But I found it very difficult to maintain that centre line. Once we got beyond 80 knots, I was expecting rudder authority, but it didn't feel like we had any. So yeah, not sure. We'd have to fly it a little bit more, and I'll be able to compare it against the calmer conditions at Alicante potentially as well. Same with tomorrow when we fly. We'll fly out of East Midlands when the weather's going to be really rubbish. On approach into Liège, we should get nicer weather, calmer conditions. And then the turnaround will give us a calmer takeoff in nicer conditions before a really hairy approach, and that will allow us to compare the two like for like in one stream effectively then tomorrow as well, which would be quite good to see as a bit of a significant test. Personally for me, I really like the fact this does the straight lines. If we were to change that in the settings, curved nav display tracks on, you can see effectively what it do is when we get closer it would give us this slight smoother curve. You can see there actually a bit of a curve, but the real aircraft never had that. It just connected the dots like so. And the real door arming as well actually, I wonder if that is in. Ah. So that didn't actually toggle. So now all the slides are armed by me clicking arm all doors. That's something I should have really checked prior to departure, to be fair. There's the Navigraph integration. So because we've got the SimReef stuff integrated and linked into the EFB and the aeroplane, it's pulled our flight in and it recognises Alicante and Gatwick. So we can just press arrival. We press Alicante. Bring us up the airport charts, and we're expecting the CLS, the Calais to Lima arrival, I think, unless the weather changes. But there we go, little pan buttons for us to be able to see what we're doing. So from Calais, VOR 11755 at or above flight level 100. We're expecting 10 for the approach. We're going to head down to Vilna before routing it in, so that's going to be Alicante on arrival. And we don't have landing performance calculations for this yet, I don't think, by the looks of it. Interesting. One of the other things that we've got, let me just bring up this screen, hold on. You get a big old manual with this aeroplane. There we go. So that's what I was using for the engine start. The A300-600R manual. Lots of information on here. With a contents page. So checklists, it says here, are actually included in the drop down in sim menu. So you can work your way through those of you who like to use those. So you'll be able to do that. And where are we at? There's our weight limitations. So you can see roughly what the aircraft's performance capabilities are. So operating empty, 0 fuel weight, landing weight, takeoff weights. If you're going to create a sim brief flight plan and a sim brief profile for this aircraft, then they're the kind of weights that you need. But iniBuilds have already done that, and there's a dedicated sim brief profile for each variant by iniBuilds in their own forums ready for release as well. So you can add that to your profile list now actually on SimBrief via their forums. Worth doing prior to release. Cruise speeds 455 knots, max altitude of 40,000 feet for its service ceiling. Range of 4,050 nautical miles, and it can take almost 18,000 gallons of fuel. It's 180 feet long and 147 feet wide with the wingspan. And then they go into, on the manual here, various different sections of the flight deck, so you can learn it via breaking each bit down individually. So it's a really good way of learning the aeroplane and where different bits are. You can have a little look at the manual and reference these charts here to work out the layout of each switch, each mode, each toggle. It goes into the EFB and the lighting switches as well in various areas. With the captain's autopilot disconnect, the red button on the yoke, which is in view at the moment just below this screen, and all the rest of it. Then the EFB with a little bit of information there. So my flight shows our current flight details as set in the FMS and routing details, along with our METAR for departure and arrival. That's the screen that we've actually got on the EFB at the moment, and we can also access the checklists from that page too. And then the ground equipment tab. So the manual will work through each different page, and the passenger version gives us that screen at the top. The payload selection though for the freighter version is like the Antonov AN225, isn't it? There are various different loads that we can put into it depending on whatever we want to fly. Takeoff performance, and then aircraft maintenance tab, which will allow us to maintain the aircraft with wear and tear over time, including tyres and brakes, from what I understand. There's your Navigraph integration, a little bit of spiel around there. It does require a Navigraph account, as we mentioned at the start, and they remind you of that in the manual too. And then the settings page. Forley blocks, which we can play. In fact, can we play it? Yeah, it's disappeared. Forley blocks has been removed. Maybe that was the problem with the VATSIM. I wonder if that was the fix. Funny if it was. Yeah, they've got a little Forley blocks game there, the old Tetris kind of thing. Just remember your ATC check-ins. And then the settings button there, which is the quick cog on the top right hand side of the EFB. What it does is it brings up various things like toggling off the EFB. You can power it down or lock it, and you can also select different panel states of the aeroplane. So if you like to load in and change your panel state to on GPU or ready for, where is it, let's see, there we are, ready for takeoff, on APU, on GPU, cold and dark, you can change all of that. You can change the brightness slider for your EFB, lock it, power it off. So it's definitely worth reading through all of this manual, because it talks to you about various maintenance options, which is really important. You can check your tyres for visual wear and tear, which is really remarkable. And you can change those realism settings as we saw earlier on as well. So we've got the normal checklist procedures. So you can work through these. One little page, nice and handy, as a quick reference for you learning the aeroplane and flying the aeroplane, different phases, and then a simplified procedures, which is what I was using earlier on. And what this does is it gives us the ability to actually read and work through each different click step required on the aeroplane. So it's a simplified checklist, but actually it goes into a heck of a lot more detail as well. So we were using a lot of this during startup, pushback, startup, taxi, takeoff earlier on. There's the after start flow, we followed that, followed by anti-ice, taxi out, and then both engines running there. So where are we at actually? Because we stopped checking it as slats, flaps and after takeoff. We've done that. Above 10,000, we've done those. And then we'll just leave it on descent preparation. One other thing that's worth checking though, if we go to iniBuilds forum, where have we got? So here we go. So somebody's asking about all the liveries. Cloud, there we go. Could you eventually show all of the other liveries which are included? I certainly can. But instead of showing you in the sim menu, why have I got down to Mach 80? I want to go to Mach 82. This headwind's battering us today. We'll have a look at the liveries here. So they've got the paint kit, that's ready. Submitted Friday, 8:58, so that would be really good for those of you wanting to paint. We are hoping to get an Osprey Airways paint scheme for the cargo variant and the passenger variant ASAP as well. So for those of you who fly with Osprey Airways, our virtual airline, very excited for that. We've got the Airbus corporate jet liveries and the modern jets. We've got the Mahana Air paint scheme there, the American metal ones, which there we go, the bare metal, and then the normal one, which is a bit more of a white look. The bare metal one is wonderful. All of these are included in the iniManager, by the way, folks, so you'll be able to download them all at the same place you install them via the iniManager, so you don't need to download them via the forum at all. We've got the Monarch pack that we're using today, small text and a big text. FedEx, Air Hong Kong, Emirates. We've got Lufthansa with the old livery, beautiful livery there, and more FedEx and DHL. They've got Etihad Crystal Cargo, Korean Air Cargo, MNG for Turkish flights, MNG Airlines, Egypt Air Cargo, Qatar Airways Cargo, San Marino Executive, very swish. It's probably San Marino's only airline, isn't it? Air Union, UPS, Korean Air, Japan Air System, UPS again, there's a few UPS ones, including this classic livery on page 2. Emirates Sky Cargo, which will go beautifully with their fantastic new their brand new Dubai Airport and City Pack for MSFS released the other day, which we are still yet to check out on the channel. That'll probably be next year. TMA Cargo, FedEx Classic for some retro ops, that'll be really cool. Air Hong Kong again, some ASL Europe, and they are the DHL operators at East Midlands. We've got South African Airways, Garuda Indonesia, Airbus House again with the modern old text. We've got Star Alliance with that kind of patchwork quilt style livery where it sliced up the aircraft in all of the different Star Alliance liveries, including Thai, which is why it's got the United Airlines battle livery at the very back there in that clip. They've got Iran Air and finally the old school Airbus House livery as well. So quite a few liveries already included, and they're all available to look at in their forums already. You don't need to kind of download it yet, but you can click on it and see the photograph to see roughly what it will look like. Where's that rather nice FedEx Classic? That Garuda one as well. I'll look at the Garuda one for you, Doc. Oh, look at that. Very Robocop. Love it. Proper swish. Good old Garuda. There she is. So, quite a few global operators for us to kind of dive into and enjoy. To be fair, it should be quite nice. Lots of options dotted all around the world. There's that Thai Star Alliance kind of Battenberg, where they did a bit of battle bus at the back, United, and then painted the rest of the front up to Thai at the very front there. What are the retro jet liveries that they've got? They've got the UPS Classic. So all of these are included on release, including that Emirates Sky Cargo there. That's a nice one. And there's that bare metal one. Let's show that, because this is really, really cool. That's a very nice paint scheme there. The bare metal looks insanely good. So I'll be looking forward to trying that soon. There's that white American Airlines luxury liner paint scheme that they had running for a while on this aircraft as well. The small text Monarch is that one, which actually is the slightly more modern version because it had the coloured Monarch logo instead of the old school Diamond Service, which is what we've got today actually, which is this one. Lufthansa. We'll end up going through all of these. Why not? You guys will be interested in seeing all of them, and we are featuring the aircraft today. Bodtrop, I think that's called. Etihad Crystal Cargo, left turn, love it. There she is. That's a proper old school looking livery, isn't it? Almost as old as Emirates' own uniform. Green Air Cargo. Some great scenery around that part of the world at the moment. Japan Air System as well. That's we'll have a look at that in a moment. MNG out of Turkey. That's a cracking livery. There's your Egypt Air Cargo as well, folks. Qatar Airways Cargo. Abu Dhabi coming soon as well from iniBuilds. That's going to be an aircraft that they've got on in the paint scheme. Well, sorry, an add-on, airport add-on that they've got in the works at the moment. There's your really cool, funky retro Japan Air System livery. Very colourful, very cool. No Kuwait one included yet, no. TMA Cargo, never heard of that one actually. I'm not sure where they would be based. LMA.com.lb. I wonder if it's like Liberia or something like that. Not really sure. There's your Air Hong Kong Cargo, partnered with DHL. Towers manned at Alicante, wonderful. And there's the South African livery that somebody was just asking for in the live chat. Luvik, there you go, buddy. That's a nice one, isn't it? Bosbok. Pan Am would be a cool one. And don't forget the paint scheme's been released, hasn't it? So we're going to get a lot of those very talented freeware paint scheme artists working away, painting all manner of liveries. And I'm sure there'll be plenty released in no time. But that's the lot of them, with a couple that we haven't really checked out, like Mahan Air. There's a few others, like all the house liveries, but I just wanted to show you some of those. That'd be quite nice. Yeah, the A350 is a really cool aircraft. Wonderful aeroplane. Look at that crosswind, 76 knots. This poor aeroplane. Getting absolutely smashed today. So just past Novan, and we've got 12.5 kilos of fuel on board. It's probably wise to do a fuel check at this point at least. Where have we got? Let's have a little look. Novan 11.5, so we're actually over our, we've got more fuel than we hoped for on board. So we've got estimated landing weight of 124.8. If I then add 1 to that, so we'll go for 125.8 for an estimated landing weight. That should cover us nicely. And actually, if I whack that up to Mach 8.3 and punch it, we'll try and get a bit of time back that we've lost today. And then we can discuss things like the flights. So approach. It's already got approach speeds input there, which is going to be quite helpful. We need to think about configuration. We'll probably go 30-40. Think about wind correction and our minimums as well. What we can also have a little look at is our GSX profile for VATSIM at Alicante. So thinking really far ahead, even though we've got a couple of hours to go. We are over the Bay of Biscay though, so probably what, an hour and a bit left. Information Alpha, departure runway 10, arrival runway 10, expect ILS Zulu, runway 10 for the approach, which is what we've planned for as well. Transition level 70 and temperature 17 degrees. Variable winds at 2 knots. Higgledy way of saying it, but nevertheless, you guys get the gist. Hans, Merry Christmas, buddy. Talking of UPS, iniBuilds say for the hardcore UPS purists out there, the Pratt & Whitney engine option will be available for free in an update next year, and the Epic refit that they use will also be available next year as a paid expansion, they say. So some news there from iniBuilds. Thanks for sharing. Very exciting. So quite a few updates to look forward to with this, I'm sure. Super Guy says, what's my performance like with this? Well, at Gatwick, with live weather, all of the really nasty weather with it, all of the traffic as well on VATSIM, plus this, and the Origami Studios Gatwick, I was still running the sim at 60 frames per second in 4K on my, although it's on an RTX 4090, so it doesn't really necessarily help benchmark performance. But I did mention earlier on in the iniManager, there's a little button that you can click when you install it, which decreases the resolution of a lot of the textures. So if you struggle performance wise, you click a button and it will then give you slightly lower texture resolutions to help with that if you suffer with performance problems. Freeware Alicante Alex by our very own Hergy1234 that's in the live chat, who created the really nice bit of scenery there. Michael, been with us for 10 months, thank you buddy, appreciate it. And Aaron, yeah, the refit I think is the modding avionics, isn't it, for UPS? iniBuilds will be able to guide further with that though, of course. Ibrahim's hoping for the PMDG 777 releasing by February. It's 360 Sky Vibes, good evening to you as well. This aircraft, Luvik, the iniBuilds A300-600R and 600F, that is slated for a release today or tomorrow, I believe. They've said by the end of the year, but not on a weekend and not on a Friday, according to their Discord server, or the chat that I was monitoring yesterday. I'm not very active in a lot of these Discord servers because I don't like to try and like take over and pretend like I'm trying to get my name out there for views, for clicks, whatever else. But I like to sit in the background and just have a little look to see what people are talking about and to see what the developers are saying in response to a number of questions, because then I can try and understand the answers to those questions before I then talk about it on a stream. So I find it very helpful to sit in the background sometimes in a lot of these servers without necessarily saying anything, but I am reading a lot of it and trying to take it all in. Soup Guy asking there, iniBuilds, when can we expect the Airbus A380 news? And they're responding very quickly in the live chat there, thank you, saying the A350 and A380 news from iniBuilds will follow at some point through next year. Any good 767s coming to the sim sooner in the future, William is asking. I think Bluebird Simulations are looking at creating one, aren't they, at the moment, but I think it's still a little way off yet, to be fair. This aircraft is about £35 on release, excluding VAT. Those of you in the UK, you're looking at about 42 quid, including VAT as well. I did answer the performance question, Luvik. Yes, literally 2 minutes ago. 2-3 minutes ago. So let's have a little look at the charts once more, because we can start to think about our location, right midpoint across the Bay of Biscay at the moment, as you can see there. So we'll be heading into Paris, sorry, not Paris. I'm all over the place today. I did night shifts up to Christmas Day morning, and I feel like I've not actually kind of recovered from that. Still feel incredibly tired. But anyway, we're going to be flying from the Bay of Biscay up to PPN, Pamplona VOR, and then routing south into Alicante. Hergy 1234's Alicante. Calais to Lima is what we're planning for at the minute. We've got a little 1 there, which means that there's a note somewhere on the chart for us to read and take in. There we go. Possible coverage failure below 130. Radar assistance will be provided. So, all this orange here means terrain, and the darker orange means at least 6,000 feet. Minimum safe altitude in this section, 8,600. Calais VOR at or above flight level 100. On a frequency of 11755, although the aircraft should auto-tune it for us. And then routing 173 degrees for 70 miles to Vilna, and there's a hold at Vilna if we need it for any reason. That is the start of our approach. So from Vilna, we can select the ILS Zulu 17, and we want the Vilna 2 arrival for this aircraft. I was using iniBuilds /Origami Studios Gatwick, Nate the Great. So from Vilna, you can see here the orange line is roughly what we're going to be doing in relation to the approach today. So connecting the dots from Vilna there's the hold as well, which if it's really busy we might get put into. If it's not, we won't be. We'll be routed straight in onto this 20 DME arc, and then flying in to establish it about 17 miles, height of 5,900 feet on the profile there, the vertical profile. Lots of terrain dotted about here, so a peak there of 3,426, peak there of, with a pylon at 3,609 to bear in mind, and we've got a few more on approach, including that little bit there, 1181, so little hazards on final approach path, 2,110 there as well for a peak with hazards. I think you're right, Doc. Yeah, I think Garuda Indonesia was the launch customer for the Airbus A300-600R. I think you might be right. You can see a couple of little steps throughout this approach. Initially stepping down to 4,200 at 14 DME. I'm hoping at that point we establish on the glide slope, but if not, we'll be stepped down to 3,300 by 10 miles to join that glide slope in. Now, I think this aircraft on VATSIM, it says we're a Category C aeroplane. We might be right on the upper cusp of that, so we'll plan for it, but we'll look at the V speeds just to see anyway. We'll work through all of the nav data in a minute, make sure it's all correct, and then we'll make sure we're all thinking about approach nice and early, because we're in an aircraft that we've never flown before. This is my first full proper flight in it. Up to now, all I've done is spawn, set everything up, fire the engines, and then go for one hand-flown circuit at Gatwick the other day, just to get a feel for what the aeroplane can do before today. But we'll go for an MDA of 412 just to see, and then we've got to also make sure we've got various things tuned in. So the Alicante NDB of 330 there, which is on our short final, and then the Altet VOR 113.8, which is useful for the go around missed approach procedure. Look, 3 DME from Altet, intercepting an outbound radial of 125 degrees to Magal and hold. And then we got to make sure the course of 100 and the frequency of 110.3 they're all tuned in the box accordingly. It's always worth as well, I talk about it a lot in live streams, so if you're new to the channel, it's always worth having a little look at the runway charts as well, because yep, we're thinking about the approach to try and plan where we're going to come off the runway to vacate. Some airports will have dodgy places to vacate, and then we're going to most likely vacate Charlie 4, if not Charlie 5, with some low auto brakes and stuff like that. So it's very dependent on performance, landing performance, and our approach speeds and our weight. But I think we can plan for Charlie 4 and then we'll vacate left Charlie 4, left Charlie 3 towards the parking stands at the terminal here. If not, Charlie 5 and then left. So that's how far ahead you want to try and think, and then we'll just be guided by tower with whatever stands they wish for us to park at. So A340 would be very cool, very niche aircraft though, and a bit of a random one for short hops. I like to particularly only do short hops, even in long haul twin aisles. So what do we got here? Flight plan. We can scroll all the way to the bottom. Top of descent there at 15:59. So we've got about half hour left. 35 minutes left before we're thinking about getting that nose pointed to the floor. Alicante, star. And we want the CLS2 Lima. ILS Zulu 10. Viln 2 transition. So we'll return. In fact, what it's done there actually is reset. So we want CLS2 Lima. So put your approach runway in, followed by the transition, then select the star. It seems to be the best way of doing it, and then we insert that accordingly. We want to make sure we don't have any discontinuities in here, and if we do, we want to check to see if actually they're in there for the right reasons. We might have a something on the charts that says vectors. A lot of US arrivals and departures might have that, by the way. So you might have a discontinuity in there, and it might be there for the correct reason, and we would leave it in depending on the circumstances. But we don't have one today, which is good. There's our little 20 DME arc before joining our final approach. iniBuilds there, just clarifying the A300 FMS filters by the runway, then runway approach. So runway then approach needs to go in first. Thank you for that. And there is our missed approach procedure as well. So we spoke earlier, didn't we, about making sure we check the data. CMA is there. Disfu, Mandy. There's CLS. At or above flight level 100. Just going to have a little look here. So we've got Calais. And there's Mandy. So we can't go from flight level 350 to at or above 100 in just a few miles. But then we have 80 miles to Vilna, and we want to be at Vilna, let's see, flight level 70, which is there. Delta 297 Tango is part of the ARC. $5942. So all the nav data is bang on. I'm not going to fiddle around with any of that. That looks really good. So we will leave that as intended. The ILS frequency 110.3. We make sure that's tuned in. And we don't have any VORs. Like the A310, we need to kind of activate a VOR mode in order for us to be able to select any of those. So we might make sure we've gone into the VOR mode, activated that, selected some just in case for the go around where we need to put that Altet VOR in on the charts there. So it's something to bear in mind. But for now, we'll just put the course in of 100 degrees for that inbound course on runway 10 Alicante. So a lot of early preps, probably a little earlier than we otherwise would, but it's an aircraft, again, we've said not particularly familiar with, so it's good to actually kind of just get ahead of it and be ready. Decision height up on the box is going to be 270 on the rad out. Passing Nemen, we've got 11.4. We're just going to do a quick fuel check. $10 tons is what we want. That's good. We're quite over actually. We're not burning as much fuel as we thought that we would, which is very nice. Now where was I? Charts, wasn't I? So 270, we can set that. I think we'll go for medium auto brake. Actually, how long is the runway? 3,000 meters, and that's compared to Gatwick, which is 3317. So actually, low auto brake and reverse thrust should be fine. Performance is fine. I've got an RTX 4090, so it doesn't necessarily help you guys benchmark performance very well. But for me, I'm using the high resolution textures. I was using a FSLTL and AIG for model matching, so quite performance heavy model matching on VATSIM with all of it, and then live weather and stuff like that as well, battered with winds and all the rest of it, and I was still getting 4K 60 frames per second, which is what I run my sim at rather comfortably, which is very nice. Down here we can tune that VOR as well, sorry, the NDB, which was 330. We'll transfer that across. We'll leave that on turbulence for now. And what I'll do is I'll tune the first officer's one as well. Just in case for any reason I'm looking across to the right, I can then just cross-reference that very quickly if I need it. I've got my sim locked to, well, I've got my my graphics card and Microsoft Flight Simulator locked to 4K 60 frames per second, so I'll never get any more frames than that, because that's what I've set the cap at, which is quite good because it means that my graphics card is never running at 100% or 90%. There's a bit of an overhead, so it can power up and use more power if it needs to, and similarly if it doesn't, it can relax and rest a little bit, which is quite nice. So we get some custom views that we got. It's almost over the Spanish coast now, making some nice progress. I think there's a lot of you guys using this frame gen hack mod thing that people are going wild about in the community at the moment. But then a lot of people suddenly experiencing lots of problems with it. I think it's one of those things, unless you really know what you're doing, don't tinker with it, because you're just asking to break the sim, which is fragile enough as it is. Yeah, everybody wants more frames per second, especially if it means that you don't have to buy a new fandangled, super expensive graphics card, and then having to buy all the new hardware to make it compatible with it. I understand, I get why people want to use this frame gen mod hack thing, but I think you're just asking for problems by using it. Certainly if your system struggles with it, and I think you've got to be wary about that sort of stuff generally. I wouldn't bother trying to potentially wreck your PC trying to squeeze an extra 20-30 frames per second out of it. If you brick your computer, then you're really buggered, aren't you? And again, it's too... I don't understand it, so I don't touch it. I don't need to. I've got a 4090, which is great, but even if I had my old computer, which had an RTX 2070 Super in it, I wouldn't be touching the frame gen mod, personally. I'd just leave it well away from my computer. Remind me if we get turbulence on arrival as well, folks. I want to dip over to this wing view and see how the how that kind of wing flex might work as well. Yeah, anything over 30 frames per second, nice, smooth and stable, as AJ Finani is saying, in a flight simulator, you are golden. That's all you need. That's all you need. We'll pop the decision height off now. We don't need it. This isn't like a first-person shooter like CS:GO or Call of Duty, where you need as many frames per second as you can and the smallest ping as possible so that you get the kill in first, that sort of thing. This is flight sim. We don't need 150 frames per second. That's just stupid. we don't need it. 30 frames per second is more than enough. And if you're running 4K or 2K and your PC hardware's got the capability to run 2K or 4K, fantastic. That's a Brucey bonus. Yeah, I'm using NVIDIA and the sim's own frame generation. with DirectX 12 on my 4090 King Bob's. Asking a good question there. But I'm not using that frame gen mod hack thing that people are going crazy for at the moment. I think you're just asking to break your sim with that. Good, I couldn't remember if I turned all the icing systems off, but I did. How are we doing on Alicante and stuff with radar? We've got LECS Centre online, so I think we've got ATC. Oh, they've got ATC into Malaga, but they're not covering Valencia, Murcia, Alicante. Oh well. Let's get some external views. My goodness, that's loud. There we go. Strobe's looking a bit more powerful now. You can see them a bit better. There's the Spanish coast. Feliz Navidad. Which now means that song's probably going to be in your head for the rest of the day. Feliz Navidad. Such an annoying song. Mrs. puts it on once a year and it spends a week in my head repeating. even in my sleep, I'll have a dream with this Feliz Navidad running in my head on loop. It's not good. There she is in all her glory, looking really fantastic. Which I think I might see how that external engine sounds change. If I drop that right to there, which is where it's meant to be. Oh, that's a bit better. My ears even popped. Oh, Wally, that's not good. Gascalade, welcome buddy. Yeah, registry file that you have to run as well, King Bob. Hell no, that's a big red flag for me. Yeah, that's a point actually. There's Just Flight are creating the original A300, the B2, which is the steam gauge version. Proper old school that. It would be nice to compare the two actually. They're making good progress with that by the looks of it too. But for me, I prefer the slightly more modern aspects to the flying. I like having the magenta line. It's a safety blanket for me, isn't it? It's nice, comfortable having a magenta line and some nice trusty LNAV, VNAV. So Theory, that's mighty impressive, that's really good. 30 to 35 frames per second with an RTX 2070 on a laptop in the Fenix. I wish I had that performance. Philip's asking, is there going to be a Monarch Airlines livery available for Xbox or is it just PC? Now, I'm not sure if iniBuilds are still in the live chat. They might be able to answer this a bit more accurately, but one would assume that if they pass it to Microsoft to put into the marketplace for you guys on Xbox, they'll package a number of the liveries. The liveries and the forums that we've just been talking about, which will also be on the iniManager for you to just one-click install which ones you want after you bought this aeroplane. I would imagine they will package it all into the one on Xbox as well, so that they will, there we go, they'll be doing livery packs for the marketplace release. Perfect. So yeah, there'll be liveries for this beautiful bird available on Xbox when it does make its way to the marketplace. Which reminds me, because we're talking about the marketplace, I've never liked the marketplace, I hate it. Those of you that have been talking a lot today about the Airbus A310, the iniBuilds A310, which is a kind of a Microsoft Flight Simulator marketplace product, which is really good, by the way. We don't fly it anywhere near enough. But a lot of you have been commenting saying it's broken at the moment. There's something with the WASM and the AirAx and bits, the nav data, that's causing an issue, which was the same as well with this aircraft today, prior to the stream. Now, that's been solved because we're flying the beautiful aeroplane here, the A300, and iniBuilds solved that mighty fast. They've also solved the A310 issue, which is something with the sim. But, oh, look at that, fly past, cooey. But once they've fixed it, they've got to pass that A310 update to Microsoft to do their thing with it before it goes on the marketplace. And because of that, it might mean that the A310 has to wait a week or two prior to having that issue solved, or however long it will take for Microsoft or Asobo or whoever it is that manages the marketplace to pull their finger out the backside with that horrendous backlog that they seem to always have, and it's forever increasing. Which is why I always say, unless you really have to, if you really have to, sure, buy something on the marketplace like the A310, which is free anyway, or the ATR, but otherwise, never buy anything from the marketplace. It is a horrendous place to buy any of the products from. Oh yeah, look at that. Beautiful turn. Instead, I buy only direct from iniBuilds, from Contrail, or from Orbex, or from Just Flight's website. Oh look, there's another fly past just in the corner. Or from Aerosoft's website as well. But yeah, as the A310 is a base aircraft included in the sim, the update has to come via an update to the sim itself, not the marketplace. There we go, iniBuilds clarifying that, so who knows how long it will take. But they've done their bit. There's a lot of pressure on iniBuilds to fix it. They already have. It's now in the hands of Microsoft to put into an update, and however long that might be, we just don't know, so we're just going to have to wait and see for that, which is a shame. The good news, however, is this is going to release imminently, and we can all dive in and enjoy this for what it's worth. And at the price of about £35 excluding VAT, brings it to about UK money £42 or so. This is remarkably good fun and actually very enjoyable. I've been having a blast with this, and iniBuilds have done a remarkable job. My first proper flight with it, I still haven't got it on the ground yet, so I don't know what all the landing and stuff is going to be like. But I've really up to now enjoyed every second of this, and I can so far wholeheartedly recommend this. It looks stunning, doesn't it? I was flicking through some of the liveries in the sim the other day, having a little look at what they've created with UPS, FedEx and stuff, and they've done a beautiful job. And for what, for the price, bang on the money. Such great value for what they're offering, and it's great to see a lot of people looking forward to this aeroplane as well. JS2 Tango, are the cockpit sounds really quiet, or do you have the volume turned down? Nope. I've got the volume turned max. But the beta build package that I've got at the moment, there seems to be a slight issue with the sounds. They kind of start to phase in about here, and then if I go back, have a little listen. They're a bit louder. But from here, we go forwards. Gone. The sounds stop right here. What's that, row 5? Something like that. Those rivets, wonderful, look at that. But that's something I'm sure, as I've said earlier on as well, iniBuilds, I'm sure, can very easily fix that in the next version that they send out. Future, nice A300, can't wait for this, they say. Have a good day at work, Andrew, enjoy, buddy. Yeah, for that price, iniBuilds saying there, the Pratt & Whitneys and the IDC are included in that initial purchase price as well, which is superb. Really cool. Fiona's asking about the A320 that iniBuilds are working on. I've got absolutely no information about that, not really sure, to be honest. And I never used the beta. I don't use the MSFS beta, I avoid it. So I never experienced it initially. So for me, never had it. Waiting patiently for it. But I'm sure they'll be working hard in the background, getting the aeroplane ready. What I say, I mean, it's such a mighty, impressive flight deck environment, isn't it? Look at this. In fact, look at that landing gear. Look at the real tight texturing on that landing gear knob. That is stunning, and the grooves on the TRS knob next to the flex temp bit there. That's really cool, and the screw details on the engines, remarkable. Little bits of dirt and tiny little scratches or lint on the screens. Really, really impressive, isn't it? Look at that. Am I in the flight deck seat? Oh, I'm in the yoke, I think. I am. Stunning, right? According to the last dev post, the A320neo from iniBuilds should be coming with SEM Update 15. There we go. Should be, though. It is software development. These things can slip and change and all that. JS2 Tango saying iniBuilds have blown it out of the park with this A300. I can't even begin to imagine how good the A350 is going to look. It's beautiful, isn't it? Really good bit of work. The reflections up there as well. Can you see that? See the EFB reflecting off the glare, their little sun visor up there. And if we go back up here to this kind of GoPro-esque view. Wonderful, right? Look at the wear and tear there on the cockpit seat position indicator. And it's all the little things that really add to the immersion that you get from an aircraft like this. It's an old aeroplane. The ones that are still flying in the skies at the moment, they're about 30 odd years old. They're as old as I am. They're going to have bumps, scratches, wear and tear, and they've sorted that out and factored that in really, really nicely in the creation of this airliner. Not too dirty, not too scratched, just right, a little bit of wear and tear, and it's perfect for the sim. So we've checked the data, we've checked our fuel, we're a little heavy, that's fine. We've got our ILS tuned in the middle there, and I'm trying to remember the A310's flow for ILS approaches. I think we've got to flick it across to ILS mode, so we flick down one, don't we? And we've got to do the same with the first officer, I believe, which reminds me, I've got to make sure his decision height sinks, I think, 270, or at least for my OCD. Yeah, truly is a testament to the A300 because there are so many still in the air today. Same with the 757 actually as well, to be fair, which is one of my all-time favourite aircraft. In fact, I'll leave that up now because we're almost at top of descent, aren't we? And I'll forget it otherwise. We'll pop that on 30 with a range change. These are independent of one another, by the way. What else have we got? So we've got VL followed by land mode there, just for my familiarity with the aeroplane. So we click that to intercept, then click that to before the glide slope. Vertical speed mode for descent if we want to, but we might descend on profile mode, I think, isn't it? We go on prof with nav, and then I'll go back to normal managed speed just prior to intercepting the top of descent as well. Oh, good spot, Doc. I don't know. I was meant to be at flight level 350. We'll descend a little bit now. We'll just do 800 foot per minute. I filed for 350, but then the rush of everything, I've got sidetracked and went to 36 without double checking or cross checking anything. Naughty me. Slap on the wrist. No, I'm meant to be at 350. It's amazing we've got this far without anyone else noticing. We're all so hyped about this A300. We're looking, but we're not seeing. Jeez. Hold on. We'll do it with the mic. Slap on the wrist. Naughty pilot. What did we say earlier as well? Low water brake. We'll get that on ready. Now it says about... Oh yeah, look. Right. Okay, so my keybind for speed brake arming doesn't work. Interesting. So I'll have to manually do that as well. Unless... No. Mach 82's good for me. 350. That'll do us. Pilot Triss, yes, they are doing the Epic refit, and it will be a paid upgrade. They're also doing a few other bits which will be included in a free update in the future, which is going to be really good fun. Cool. Well, that's done anyway. We will reset that and fix that. Nav display, VORs. What we'll do is just go to nav mode briefly. VOR mode. In fact, I can pop that onto first officer's one, can't I? So we'll pop that up there. There we go. And we want 1138 for Altet, with a course of 0125. So that's set. Plonk that back on nav. Prog. Refresh the cruise. There's our top of descent marker again. Thanks, iniBuilds. The little things, little quirks like that in the jet, you've got to learn, and it does make it really cool. In fact, sorry, prog, descent forecast. Oh, I've not done that, have I? So I'm going to pick a few. From my SimBrief OFP. .300/, I think, isn't it? So, flight level, whoops. Oh, actually, it's 310 / 048 at 14. I think this is the input format. Yep, lovely. And then flight level 150 / 200 at 8. Much calmer winds than the UK at the moment. 10,000 foot winds. Two, 1 at 5. Let's see if it recognises that. Yeah, flight level 100, beautiful. And then the weather in Alicante. We've got 180 at 6. Happy days. So we've fed the data to the aeroplane just so that it can work out where we need to begin our descent, which is imminent. It's just less than 80 miles now. So we bring the range rings in. That's when we know we're starting to get a bit closer. And I think we've set up for the rest. Krypix F1 saying he's looking forward to flying the cargo version of the A300. And Pooch was asking about the weather radar. Yes, it does work, buddy. Christopher Edge, you're more than welcome. It's a great video of the iniBuilds A300 highlighting all of its great features. Thank you. Most welcome. Great to hear you enjoying it. Thanks for tuning in today. Is this landing elevation? It is, isn't it? So we need to set this as well to help the pressure panel know where to depressurize the aircraft to, and we want 142. So 150 is the closest we can get. So we'll set that accordingly there. And I reckon we are ready for descent. Let's see, descent preparation, ECAM memo check status. Normal. Weather landing information obtained. We will get the METAR in Lille in the live chat, and I'll pull the ATIS out for you guys, and I'll put the ATIS into the live chat for you in text as well, so you can read the ATIS at Alicante. Thinking of which, actually, we need to pop the tower in, which is going to be 118155. What was it? 118155. Massive thank you to Santiago for providing ATC today. If he still stays online, let's clear that status page. Next on the checklist, so landing elevation is set. Fuel checked, FMS programmed, DH set on FCU, mine and yours. Auto brake, normal runway length set low. Short contaminated or low vis set mid. Short braking distance set max. So we'll go for low. Very long runways or little braking needed. Auto brake is unnecessary, not applicable. So we'll go for low auto brake today. GPWS flaps slats switch. So well, that'll be extension through the descent profile. GPWS slats flaps. Trying to think where that would be. GPWS flaps and slats. Probably looking in entirely the wrong location. Oh, hold on. There we go. 15 to 20 or 30 to 40. There it is. I knew it was somewhere logical. Funnily enough, it's near the flap handle. Jeez, take a minute. But yeah, if we were landing with slats 15, flaps 20, we'd need to flick the switch up, but we're not. We're landing flaps 30, 40. So we will flick the switch down. So we'll be landing full slats flaps. 40 miles to top of descent. So we want to make sure we've set our altitude knob. We're going to go down to 70, which is also just happens to be the transition altitude for today. So Alt Cell to 7. We'll remain in hold mode for now though. We'll then go to profile descent. And then we'll just work our way down. What we'll do, very similar to the other aeroplanes we like to fly, if we start the descent just slightly before top of descent, it will smooth it out for us. It will mean that we initially start with a shallower rate of descent, and then it will then join the profile accordingly. So it's quite a nice way of doing it for smoother approaches and things. So where are we at now? About 30 miles. We've got a little way to go. We've got our weather radar set to tilt -3, though it is set to turbulence at the moment. We can pop it on weather, but to be honest, I'm more interested about turbulence instead. Especially when the weather's like this. We can see where the weather is going to be pants, and it looks pretty lovely, doesn't it? So turbulence is the key today, although even the turbulence might not be picked up on the radar with this. Currently with a slight tailwind pushing us along as well, which is very nice. That's set to automatic. We'll keep it in auto for now. Not long to go, so we're just literally waiting for top of descent now. Right, back. Just quickly went to see if the dog was alright. Quick status check of the first officer. Okay, let's go. So, profile. Let's see what she does. Descent has begun. 1,000 foot per minute. Oh, Ian, chuffing neck. Have a good one, mate. So vertical deviation there, we're slightly below the profile. The aircraft will start to capture that as we begin the descent. So initially starts smooth at 1,000 foot per minute, it will then increase. Here we go. Angus asking for the outside. There we go. Wonderful, isn't it? Very nice. David A, good morning, buddy. He's got one product from the marketplace. Is it the ATR by any chance? I've got the ATR and that's it, I think, from the MSFS marketplace. Oh, I got that Benelli scenery that we used the other day, which you can only get on the marketplace, which is rather sad. Looks like the nose is pitched down a bit more now, so we'll dive back in, see what it's doing. 2,000 foot per minute. Oof, that's just going to keep an eye on this. It's gone to profile speed and throttles are on idle. It's a little bit like the Boeing here, this Airbus. It's very odd, especially if you like to fly the A320, because the throttles actually kind of they don't do what there's no like climb gate, there's no climb, flex, toga modes or anything like click gates like the A320. It's a bit odd, but that's because this aircraft was a bit odd, I guess. Really, when you look at the current state of Airbus and the aircraft that they now have, you'd be forgiven to think this isn't actually an Airbus aeroplane with, you know, the yoke and kind of a bit of a Boeing way of doing stuff. But yeah, look at Airbus now. Look at how they've taken this aeroplane and then updated various other ones over the time, and now offer things like the A350-1000. It's incredible. Massive thank you to everybody who has joined us for today as well. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's been worth the wait with the slight delay to departure. Appreciate all of you guys hanging on for dear life, waiting, gripping the rail. Hit subscribe if you've not done so already, and hit like as well. If you've hit the like button as well already, appreciate it. It all helps. Good to see what you enjoy and the streams that you don't necessarily enjoy as well. And then I can try and work accordingly for that. Tatting icing range, it says. I'll just whack the ice on, just in case. We don't know what problems. Rob, good effort, buddy. What was your flight that you did? It does have fly-by-wire, but it was just it's a bit more rudimental, Doc. It's like a Boeing with fly-by-wire, from what I understand. That's probably the best way to describe these aeroplanes. Remarkable feats of engineering. It's holding the profile rather nicely at the moment. 2,000 foot per minute, that's looking pretty good. I haven't got like a banana or like a bottom of descent marker yet, but that might be because the range is now too far. We'll have a little look and monitor that. But 7,000 is what we want at Vilna in about 60 miles. So we're on track for that quite nicely. We've got to think about terrain as well. We could pop that on. Terrain mode. Nice route, Rob. Oliver, what sort of graphics card have you got for your frame gen? Config 3040, wind correction. We'll add 5. And MDA 412. Set. Okay, and then that now with the data allows us to enter final approach mode, which we won't go into just yet because we don't need to. That should then command deceleration of the aircraft. Oliver, I'm not sure actually then, buddy. Do you notice here is it's starting to just pitch down a bit and it's starting to accelerate away from our speed target in the descent, but it's on profile still, so just let the aeroplane, that's fine. A couple of knots here or there, we're not under any speed constraints at the moment. We're not going to panic and start mashing the speed brake out and doing crazy stuff. At the minute all we have is altitude restrictions. Down to 10,000, then we need to drop the speed to below 250 knots. Trying to look at weight balance performance. Performance doesn't help us with anything. We'll go back to my flights. Almost there, folks. Would you look at that? Digital flight deck, welcome. Absolutely. The A300 is great fun. Nice to have a little bit of nostalgic old school flair with some modernised kind of flight deck systems and all that. And it's a bit of brain training today. Absolutely worth the hours delayed to the stream as well. We were going to press ahead with an alternate plan, but I think it's important to A, give the developers time to fix a bug they've identified last minute. It's only fair. It wouldn't be professional of me to just plough ahead anyway, even though I'm not a full-time streamer of any sort. And that way we get to actually experience the aeroplane as best as possible. It's still beta version, so there's still some of the features needing some tweaks, like the sounds in the flight deck at the moment. They've suddenly dropped off a little bit in this package, but that's fine because we know the sounds are there, and currently descending on idle anyway. Don't need any. Just a little hum, just a hum in the background. Objective trade, yeah, good to see, isn't it? I think it's better than the A310 digital flight deck. It's a much more popular aircraft in comparison to the A310 by real-world operators as well. A lot of them are still used in real life. Some of them are still used. I think there's over 30 in use in real life still at the minute. But a lot of historical, nostalgic operators as well, like Monarch Airlines we're doing today. yeah, it's quite fun. Okay, more drag required. We've got an alert on the PFD and on the FMS, so that's now asking us to extend speed brake. There we go. Nice animations. There are, Andrew, but this package that I've got, it's broken. Look, master volumes are right up, interior's right up. So yeah, we can't do any more than that, but that's fine. It's something that iniBuilds, I'll leave it with them and they can sort out. Ryan, yeah, have a little look at the start of the stream, buddy. We did all the SimBrief integration stuff. It was very good. Alicante traffic. That's trippy. (1204) for approach. Why did my volume come back on me then? That's super weird. That's really confused me. It's weird hearing your own voice. My goodness. Valencia Control, good afternoon. Monarch 252 with information Charlie for Alicante. Currently descending flight level 140 inbound Vilna.
Monarch 252, hello, identified. Descent flight level 70, expect the ILS Zulu approach, runway 10.
Good afternoon, descend flight level 70, ILS Zulu, runway 10 expected, Monarch 252. Yeah, I didn't hear that earlier on. It's weird. I'm going to whack those to 1238. That's a good shout, Kevin, thanks. How funny. Is that what I sound like? My goodness.
Valencia Control, good afternoon. Tomjet 445 descending below 17,000 feet.
Look at that. Old school spoilers as well, isn't it? It looks, they look really quite rudimental with the way they extend out.
Tomjet 445.
And you look at this aircraft and then you compare against the Airbus A350-1000 and you see how far Airbus have come in the development and engineering of aeroplanes, which is really remarkable in real life. In the sim, however, this is what we like, this is what we love, this is just brilliant. Especially with the atmospherics as they are at the moment into Alicante. I think that is remarkable. Get rid of the speed brake. We'll keep the speed down. And in a minute, I'm going to pop the music off so we can focus. There's our little banana. So it was just because we had such a big range. We can clear the more drag warning. I'm going to get rid of the icing. Seatbelt signs now go on. We'll go back to prof mode for now, I think. We'll bring that range ring in a bit more.
Monarch 252 after Vilna, you are clear for the ILS to approach runway 10.
After Vilna, cleared ILS Zulu approach runway 10, Monarch 252.
And Monarch 252, the QNH 1023.
QNH 1023, thanks, Monarch 252. We'll set 5,000. Let's get rid of the music. Look at that. Stunning. We get to do this in an A300. We pick all the best routes on this channel. Look at the corrosion on that wiper as well. 9,000. Let's get lights. We won't bother with wing lights. We don't need that. Runway turn off. Nose. Seatbelts. Lights and signs. Icing as required.
Tomjet 445, descent flight level 70.
Flight level 70, Tomjet 445.
1023. So that takes us off profile significantly. Set 220. Actually, we'll go for 200. Oh, sim's locked. There we go. We're back. Round trouser moment. Final approach. Set. That's weird. I've got nav 2. I've got no nav 1 here. There we go. Ah, I knocked it into arc, I think.
Tomjet 445 after Vilna, you are clear for the ILS to approach runway 10, QNH 1023.
After Vilna, cleared for the ILS Zulu approach, QNH 1023, Tomjet 445.
Following it round. 175. 10. Capacity bucket's getting a bit full. 100 to 130. For 30 degrees. Just set that in case. Extend the flaps, 3 minimum clean. Flaps, slats 15. Flaps 15. There we go. Oh boy. Cabin crew seats for landing. So we're flying a 20 DME arc at the moment. Probably a little lower than I should have been, but that's because I've busy doing everything else. So I've kind of made one mistake in relation to altitude, but that's fine. We've leveled at 5 instead of 6, and we're working away quite nicely. So look how long it takes for the flaps to extend. They're just set now. Terrain map, yeah, it doesn't seem to do anything. Especially around this here, I'd expect to see some indication of terrain, but we don't have any. Clip says, I don't even know how you fly, stream and answer questions all at once. Sometimes badly. That's how. Sometimes very badly. I think we're there, aren't we? So, visual, got to be geared down, normal icing, profile descent, that's all fine. So, spoilers are, parking brake just confirmed off. Left turn coming up. Speed down, we've got 138, 143 if I had 5. VL mode. So we got ILS, 1103 and 100. We use rows. Look at that, you can see it moving now. Okay, 180 and 5. Locks captured, quite nicely actually. Land. Autopilot 2. Done. Look at that. Monarch 252's established 17 miles. ILS 10.
Monarch 252, contact Alicante Tower, frequency 118.155.
Contact Alicante Tower 118.155. Monarch 252. Thanks to the ATC. Feliz Navidad. Alicante Tower, good afternoon. Monarch 252, Airbus A300-600, established ILS 10, 15 miles on the glide.
Monarch 252, Alicante Tower, hello. What's your current airspeed?
180 knots, Monarch 252.
Monarch 252, roger, maintain 180. Continue approach for the moment, you are number 1, and please confirm that you are going to be able to exit via Charlie 2 or you're going to need more runway.
I might need Charlie 4, but I can try for Charlie 2 if that helps, Monarch 252.
That's not a problem. Monarch 252, continue approach for the moment, you're going to vacate via Charlie 4, new QNH is 1024.
We'll go continue and Charlie 4, new QNH 1024, Monarch 252.
Alicante Tower, Edelweiss 225, request push and start.
Edelweiss 225.
Get out.
Yeah, stand by.
Stand by, Edelweiss.
Here we go. So slow,
344, you're ready for
nice
taxi?
and early, folks. Oh yeah.
Osprey 44 Sierra, taxi via Bravo, holding point Alpha 4, runway 10.
Look at that. Give me that engine noise.
Skyway 6961, taxi to stand 29 via Charlie, give way to the Osprey 737.
Stand 29 via Charlie.
How good does this look?
Osprey 737, Skyway 6961. Thanks, sorry about that.
No problem. Monarch 252, winds 1706, runway 10, clear to land.
10 clear land, Monarch 242. Now I have no idea what's going to happen, but I'm going to record the landing. 8306. Wilco, Monarch 252.
Edelweiss 225, push and start up is approved, face west, QNH 1024.
160, flap status 1520. Final stage.
West, QNH 1024, Edelweiss.
Skyway 6961, hold position immediately, brake, Osprey 440, you're now exiting via Charlie.
Alright.
Okay, you can continue now via Charlie, brake, Skyway 6961, give way to the 737, he's going to exit via Charlie.
I'll check it way to 737.
Doc, yeah, we've got to, hopefully if this works, replay our landing as well.
Tomjet 445
flight
with
control
me.
replay.
Tomjet 445, what's your current
Look at that.
Slowing to 165.
Okay, Tomjet 445, with speed is, you're gonna do speed 160 until 4 DME, number 2 behind that NA300, continue approach.
I believe 160.
160 till 4 DME.
Flaps look fantastic, don't they?
Tomjet 445.
Skyway 6961, apologies, you can continue taxi.
James, you tell me. What do you think we are? Look at those hills as well, beautiful, so good. Right, last chance, so quickly, one more screenshot now in flight, back to the flight deck, 143 is what we want. 4,000 for the mist. That sets 100 degrees to 3DME. We've already briefed and cross-checked for that. So, shall we hand fly the last bit, folks? I think we shall. Let's go to the control visualizer so you can see what inputs I'm making as we shoot the ILS. And my controls. Autopilot off. Confirmed. So I'm holding it with auto thrust at the moment still, 143, giving us the 5 knots additional. Auto brakes set low and gear is down 3 green and locked. That's all good. Just extending that centre line all the way through the aeroplane. Currently we've got a 2 knot crosswind right to left. Pretty negative. Now it's just boosted to 4 knots. A tiny bit variable and a tiny bit gusty. Just for something to consider. So small corrections, all the while continuing down on the descent. Here we go. Love these announcements as well. Have a listen to the cockpit announcements. 300. Little bit of float. Come on, girl. 5 knots and little gust. Back on profile. There we go, looking ahead. Jeez. I think I forgot to deactivate auto thrust there. Oh, reverse.
Holding point Alpha 5, runway 10.
Charlie, holding point Alpha 5, runway 10, live 225.
60 knots. Let's get rid of reverse thrust. Those sounds. My brakes. Charlie 4, that's what we planned for. 285 foot per minute. Slightly right of centre line.
Winds are 170 at 6, runway 10, clear to land.
Clear to land, runway 10, contact 44.
Monarch 252, welcome to Alicante. Right turn on Charlie 3 and hold position.
Right turn, Charlie 3, hold position, Monarch 252.
And Monarch 252, apologies, it was the left turn.
Thanks, left turn. I was just thinking, what?
Alicante Tower, Buenos Aires, runway 28 November Delta, 737-800-600, information Delta, Cockpit, request clearance to sunset.
Ryanair 28 November Delta.
Just now the sounds in the flight deck have come back again.
Osprey 44 Sierra, you have the 737 on final inside. Osprey 44 Sierra behind the landing traffic, line up and wait runway 10 behind.
Lying up behind the traffic.
Ryanair 28 November Delta, ready to copy.
Okay, so he's asked us to hold position here. Let's clear that.
Ryanair 28 November Delta, information Delta is correct. You are clear to London Stansted via the Mitos 3 Alpha departure, runway 10, climb at 6,000 feet, squawk 6220.
Let's get these folded up, shall we?
We're clear to Stansted, Mitos 3 Alpha departure, runway 10.
Oh, look at that, folks. That's a screenshot right there. Beautiful. So,
Monarch 252, taxi via Delta, stand 35.
Taxi Delta, stand 35, Monarch 252.
Tomjet 445 vacate via Charlie 4.
Is it stand 25 via Charlie 2?
Ryanair 28 November Delta, read back correct, call me for push and start.
Taxi, 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 taxi. Parking stands.
Osprey 44 Sierra, winds are 170 at 6, runway 10, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff.
Tomjet 445, welcome to Alicante. Left turn onto Charlie, follow the Monarch.
35. Thanks, Doc. APU. Okay, so it's literally right here.
Tomjet 445, left turn on Charlie, follow the A300.
Apologies, I pressed the wrong button. Left turn on Charlie, follow the Monarch. Tomjet 445.
He always says that, but that's fine. Freeware Alicante, by the way, very, very good. Ergy 1234's created this wonderful bit of kit.
Buenas tardes, Europa, Central Max, Ocean Delta. Stand forward because
We are an hour delayed, but worth the wait, hopefully, for you guys.
79 Charlie Mike, Alicante Tower flow, standby. Edelweiss 225, upon reaching holding point, line up and wait, runway 10.
After reaching holding point, line up and wait, runway 10.
35 right there. Taxi
Tomjet
lights off.
445, you're gonna be taking stand 23 via Delta.
Stand 23 via Delta, Tomjet 44.
Ah. He's lined me up with 36 for some reason.
440, contact Valencia Control on frequency 120.
Stand 200.
Yep.
We'll have to self-park. I've got a Duff GSX profile for this.
Edelweiss 225, wings are 170 at 6, runway 10 clear for takeoff.
Runway 10 clear for takeoff, Edelweiss 225.
Of all the stands, we get a Duff one.
79 Charlie Mike, ready to copy.
Go ahead, please.
Okay, right.
Europa 79 Charlie Mike, information Delta is current, clear to
Engines
Madrid.
1 and 2.
Via runway 10, Caton 4 Alpha departure, climb altitude 6,000 feet, squawk 6215.
It doesn't think we're at gate 35, even though we are, so can't do anything about that. Beacon lights. Doesn't matter anyway, we won't use GSX for disembarkation. Let's look at New Sky, because we were tracking our very first full flight via our virtual airline client.
Correct. Call me ready for push and start brake. Monarch
What do you reckon?
252, you parked on 35 Alpha by accident, I think.
Well, I don't have any other 35, unfortunately, Monarch 252.
Yeah, it's fine. There should be 35 to your right, which is a bigger stand, but nah, that's fine. You can fit in there, I think.
Yes. I've got stand 200. I think maybe he means 200. Oh well.
Edelweiss 225.
Right, anyway. Oh, look at that profit. 49,000. We got 9.23. Okay, it's the touchdown that's let me down there. Wasn't the smoothest, but not too bad. Quite happy with that. I think he means stand 200, but oh well. Right, what we'll do is we'll say we're logging off, and we've got recording. Let's end the recording. Load flight play A306. Right, perfect. We'll start the engines, then we'll replay that approach, and we'll look at the external view on touchdown, and we'll look at the wing view as well. So let's get rid of this, close that. We don't need Navigraph, we don't need the manual anymore, throw it out of the window. Tower Monarch 252 is logging off. Thank you for the ATC, have a good night.
Yep.
Now I'm going to connect as observer mode, which means that I'm still going to be on the network, I'm just now completely invisible to everybody else. And before I fire all of this up, I'm going to start engine 2. Oh, hold on, bleed, APU. Duh. There we go. We're going to start engine 2 followed by engine 1. By the way, tomorrow, folks, let's listen to the sounds. We're flying FedEx from East Midlands to Liège and back again, doing some cargo ops. Throw the fuel in. Mr. Adventures, thanks for subscribing, buddy. I'm going to fiddle around with the time very briefly as well, folks, because I want to have a little look at the emissives, cabin lighting, and all that sort of thing as well. I don't know if others have done that. Hopefully they have. Beacon. Not that it really matters for the replay. N2, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, what's his position, Doc? Just so I can try and judge with replays and things. N2. That noise. Oh. That's fantastic. Okay, I'm going to load flight control replay. This is where everything breaks. I hope not. I hope not. Close Volanta, because otherwise it's going to get really messy. Play. This is where it all goes really weird, because the sim still doesn't really handle any of this very well, to be fair. So what we have to do is turn a lot of it on, faff around with a fair few bits, try and get it all set up nicely again. Park brake needs to be off, engines 1, 2, that's all good and done. What do you reckon, folks? That view? Oh. Or that view? A300 replay. Turkey on finals. Oh yeah, he's right behind us. We're completely invisible to him, by the way, if you're all a bit confused and you've never seen this before. What we're doing is replaying everything, but we are hidden on VATSIM, in visible mode, basically. Still connected to the network, so we get to see everybody else. And we're going to touch down in this.
18155, runway 5.
You see a little bit of wing flex. That's the Ryanair. Gotcha, Cythera. Thanks, buddy. Replay, flight control replay, but there's a really good freeware called Sky Dolly, which I've used a lot of in the past. No. Well, I haven't tried iniBuilds, to be honest, actually. I can have a look. In fact, I'll look afterwards and I'll let you know via email, yes or no, with the build, if that works. Is there anything else as well that I haven't covered that you think is worth pointing out, iniBuilds, while I've got you still for a few minutes? I hope you've enjoyed the live stream as well.
Well,
sounds obviously as well, actually. Changing the sound, the way the soundscape reacts in flight. The sounds seem to taper away quite quickly. But you probably already fixed that as well. They work very fast. Look at this. Look at that wing. The wing dancing about on the tips. Nitesh, it's the freeware Alicante by Hergy. Here we go. Oh! Yeah, boy. Look at that. And then vacate on the high speed exit, about 50 knots, still decelerating, manual brakes. Beautiful. Now of course, oh no, camera, follow aircraft. We've got one on final, which we obviously want to watch, but I'm going to reposition our camera. So, in fact, I might do it that way so we get that beautiful sunset as well. We want to see the touchdown as well from the outside, don't we? We've got to, naturally. So I'm going to do two things. I'm going to set the camera up here. What have we got? Let's go to, yeah, it's about there, isn't it? And then we ramp this up to about 20. Pause the flight control replay. We'll suck the aeroplane back into the sky. So that's triggered the replay once again. And we've got one on final now. We've got a few on final which we have to go and watch, obviously. We'll watch them come in. We'll watch one or two at least. How many have we got on final left? Turkey just landed. I can't see him. Unless that's Hergy there. Let's see what we got. Ah, this is Hergy. Fantastic.
Osprey 200 Lima.
Oh, actually, I've got the perfect song for this. Whoa. I think that's the VATSIM servers. Where is he? That's more like it. It's a pretty standard Ryanair landing. Take some of the furniture with you as well on the way. Why not? Lovely. Right, let's go and see ours. Because we're still replaying. And I wanted to do one other thing, folks. I want to go to time, darkness. Look at the flight deck cabin. Look at that. Dim the lights for landing. Lovely. Live time. Make sure this is all reset correctly. Lights. Here we go. I'll pause us right there. Because we've got, I think that's Cythera coming in. We're completely invisible though, as a reminder. We'll watch Cythera's landing first.
Delta 566 Heavy, maintain speed 180 until 6 DME.
But we're completely hidden on the VATSIM network, so actually what I'll do is I'll just scoot us back.
Maintain speed 180 until 6 DME, contact tower 118.
Is it? I don't think it is Cythera. Osprey 20 Sierra Lima, 2 miles. You're going to see us kind of go through each other, but we can't avoid that. That's just the way it is. And then I think Where's the sun? That there is going to be roughly where we touch down. I think that's going to look spectacular. Light beaming through the light there. The trees. Really nice. Yeah, we're completely invisible on VATSIM. He can't see us, but we can see him on observer mode. It just gives us the ability to A, replay these, B, watch everyone else's landings as well, which is quite nice on streams. We got, we don't want time, we want camera speeds. We'll drop that to 10. 25. Flying a big bird. Here he comes. I think he's in the Osprey Airways 747-8. Queen of the Skies. And once he's down, oh yeah, that's it. Good point. Yeah, he's flying an A340-600 actually in his sim, but we don't have that, so it's rendered as 748 for us. And he's on X-plane, so the scenery might all be in a different place. Look at that majestic bird. Oh. Right, let's watch our replay. There's the sun. We'll try and get a few screenshots of this, I think. Why not? It'd be quite good. Here we go. iniBuilds A300. There's a little bit of twitchiness from me there. Bam. Bit firm, but I'll take that. It was accurate enough. Stunning. So where did we actually park? We plonked it here, didn't we? Or where did we get that nose wheel down? Right there. So we pause it. Let's have a little assess. Oh! Look at that. Stunning. Oh, just about kept the nose wheel up there, look. If we just bring that light up a little bit, the light levels. Just about got that on the ground.
Osprey 442 identified, descent flight level 70.
How spectacular does that look? There's a screenshot. Absolutely stunning. And even better. Oh! Yes! Fantastic. Right, let's go to drone camera, follow aircraft. We turn that back on again. And then what we do is we go backwards a wee bit. Wait. Now we can watch close up for the final time. Massive thank you to everyone who's waited for the extra hour today prior to us going live with this wonderful aeroplane by iniBuilds, releasing imminently for Microsoft Flight Simulator. I hope you've enjoyed the routing as well. Gatwick to Alicante on the VATSIM network. It's nice to kind of put ourselves through our paces and put it all to the test as well. Big thank you to iniBuilds for sending us the ability to preview this, sending us a package with beautiful liveries attached as well, and working to improve a lot of the bugs that a few of us have been experiencing over the last few days as well, and it is releasing imminently. Join us tomorrow, as we mentioned earlier during the stream. We are flying East Midlands to Liège and back again on VATSIM once more, but this time flying cargo. In the iniBuilds 600F, the A300-600F, and we're going to be doing some FedEx real-world ops to Liège and back. So, in the meantime, as always, big thank you to everyone who's hit the subscribe button today, all of you that have pressed the thumbs up and giving us a like, all of our channel members, bronze, silver, gold, wherever you are in the world. Appreciate all of your support as we start to close in the year of 2023 with one final big aircraft release coming imminently. So, keep an eye on the iniBuilds website. Naturally, that's where you'll find it when it does get released. Hopefully today or tomorrow, probably. Maybe the next day. Who knows? We know it's coming by the end of the year, and that is almost over. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you very soon. Tomorrow, in fact. Take care.